Players welcome to Houston Aeros with a number of changes. In his new head coach, Dave Tippett, the boys have responded, getting Tippett his first victory as a head coach. Tonight, the Aeros trying to make it 2 in a row as they go on with their stretch run to the playoffs. From Kemper Arena in Kansas City, the Aeros trying to dull the Blades. A special edition of Houston Aeros hockey is next on UPN 20. From Kemper Arena in Kansas City, Missouri, it's a special edition of Houston Aeros hockey. Tonight, the Aeros take on the Kansas City Blades in live International Hockey League action. A very pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Kemper Arena. I'm Adam Gordon. The Aeros wrap up their regular season play tonight against the Kansas City Blades. But I'll tell you what, the Aeros picked up a big win in '96, getting their first win for head coach Dave Tippett, a 3-2 shootout win over San Francisco. And we asked Dave Tippett after the game how nice it was to get win number 1 out of the way.
Yeah, it's good to get the first one out of the way. You know, it's a lot of emotions running. For myself, for the players, for Terry. You know, I mean, it's good to get this first one out of the way and just go from there.
So as I bring in my broadcast partner, Mike Greener, I think the emotions have spilled over not only from that game, but right into tonight's game. The boys are pumped.
Well, I think they had a really good pregame skate today, and let's hope they can carry it into tonight's game.
Well, the guy that has been doing it for them in the pipes is Grant Shervin, and tonight he'll get another start.
He will. He came into a tough situation, and he's played really well. But let's remember, he hasn't seen the kind of rubber that the goalies were seeing earlier on in the year. Let's hope that the guys give him some more protection tonight.
On the other side of things for the Kansas City Blades, you might remember Larry Dick had stonewalled the entire IHL. He was terrific in the playoffs against the Denver Grizzlies. In fact, terrific in the playoffs. But he was sent to Mobile of the East Coast Hockey League, and tonight it's an NHL veteran, Artis Urbe, that'll get the start.
He will. He's come down for a couple weeks of conditioning, so he'll be a tough guy to beat. But after a while of work down here, he'll go back up to San Jose.
Absolutely. It's time to the Oshman's game plan, and it's brought to you by Oshman Super Sports USA.
Well, Mark Freer played really great, and so did his line last game, but they need all 3 lines going, pumping hard against this Kansas City Blades hockey team. Secondly, own the zone. They have to own the offensive zone and get some goals. And third, to do that, you're going to have to do some hitting, bump the guys along the boards, and cause some turnovers.
You know, you talk about roughing them up. The Kansas City Blades are loaded with a lot of European players, and I think if you bump them, it throws them off their game. That'll be a key tonight. When we return, we will chat with head coach Dave Tippett. This is Houston Aeros Hockey on UPN 20. Tonight's special edition of Saturday Night on Ice is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, by Columbia Healthcare Partners, by Chrysler Plymouth, by Dodge, by Jeep Eagle, and by Whataburger.
Welcome back to Kemper Arena. I'm Mike Greenley, and I'm pleased to have Coach Dave Tippett with me. And Dave, congratulations on your first win last week. And it was probably a little more exciting than you wanted it to be. But I think the key word here is last week. What do you think that week off, how do you think it's affected your players?
Well, we've had a good week of practice. The guys have worked very hard, and we've talked about a lot of things that we want to do better and things that we worked on. And so we looked at the week as another, like the second week of the mini training camp we have, and now we've got one game before the All-Star break, and we want to make the best of it here.
From a coaching standpoint, how does that help you to have that week to work with the guys?
Well, like I say, there's a lot of different things that we're trying to do system-wise, and you need time to not just teach it, but to get the players to do it so it comes naturally to them. I mean, the more repetitions you do, the better, everybody gets at it, and the more everybody knows it. So it's a repetition thing, and if we do the things that we set forth, and guys do it by habit, we'll have a pretty good system.
Now, I think Mark Freer probably had his best game of the season against San Francisco. He had a lot of goal-scoring opportunities, and he had a couple assists. And how good is to have a player like him come and play like that now?
Yeah, Frizzy really played well last game. He was skating well and he's jumping to the open ice and getting a lot of chances, like you say. We need everybody playing well, not just Frizzy. I mean, he came up and had a real strong game for us that night. But we feel if we're going to get ourselves in the playoff race here, we need everybody playing that way.
Well, I wish you the best of luck tonight, and thanks for spending time with us right now.
Thanks very much, Wayne.
All right, that was Dave Tippett, head coach of the Houston Aeros, and we'll be back right after this.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Kemper Arena. Adam Gordon along with Mike Greenlay. It's the final regular season meeting between the Aeros and the Kansas City Blades. In goal tonight for the Houston Aeros, Grant Shervin, who is 1-2 as a Houston Aero, but a nice 1.68 goals against average and a 93.2 save percentage. He has played some terrific hockey for the Houston Aeros and seems to have settled down the goaltending problems that the Aeros have had this season. On the other side of things for the Kansas City Blades, it's Arturs Urbe, who is 1-1 as a Kansas City Blade, and he comes in with a 4.01 goals against average, 85.2 on the save percentage. And boy, I'll tell you, down for a 2-week conditioning stint, and then he'll be back up with San Jose. Head coach Dave Tippett, and he takes over January 2nd and picked up his first win, a 3-2 shootout win over the San Francisco Spiders, and Vasily Tikhonov, the Blades head coach, replacing Jim Wiley, who's now all of a sudden the head coach in San Jose. We're underway from Kemper Arena. The Aeros with a puck in their own end. They'll move it right to left. The puck that was shot in wide of the net. Grillo after it, but Jakes takes over for Houston. Turns one near side, Yo. He'll get a pass at neutral for Maurice across the line. Had it Popechek back in front. Jakes trying to cut one out. Here's Yo, the drive, and that's deflected up over the glass and out of play. And a fan back there had to kind of make a heads-up dodge of that puck. That thing came smoking in, nearly took his head off.
Yeah, it was a good shot on net, but the puck got deflected up into the stands. Pretty good start for Houston Aeros getting back down in the zone. Puck goes down early into the Houston Aeros zone, but they transitioned it very well and got out of there. Al Conroy doing a good job this season, 14 goals, 18 assists. So he's leading by example, which is a good thing to see from the Houston Aero captain.
Here's Mark Freer with Kelly Hurt and Scott Arniel. This line played terrific against San Francisco. Face-off controlled by Houston. O'Connor to left point, danced it back top of the slot, getting set to Krupke. Right side, shot deflected just wide. I think Urbe may have gotten a stick on it. Puck to the corner, Freer trying to move it along the boards. Gobbled up by Vlastimil Krupa. Turns to Jan Shalhoub. He was bumped by Krupke, and the Aeros hold it in. Freer gives to Arniel. Turns it down the right side for Kelly Hurt behind the net. Trying to snap one Krupke behind the net. Krupke, it's rare when you see him pinch, but he's in on the play. And now finally the Blades turn. They will try and move it up and out of the zone. Here come the Kansas City Blades. Long lead pass for Jan Shalhoub over the line. Blocked by Arniel and cleared out at neutral ice. Here comes Freer across the line. Freer gives to Kelly Hurt. Left wing wide. Shoots. Deflected away by Claudio Scremin. Puck to the far corner. Freer was there. Takes a bump from Krupa. And it's picked up by the Blades. Can they clear it? No. Ville Peltonen trying to clear it but could not do it. Now the puck in the Kansas City zone. Claudio Scremin near side. He'll move it up and out at center. What a terrific Turner Cup finals he had. Played very well for Kansas City. He's always been steady for him on the blue line. Aeros take the puck, shoot it out at center. Scremin right side. Hoists a pass ahead. It was knocked away. Slivchenko in transition. Couldn't gather the puck, and O'Connor takes over. Just underway. A minute and a half gone in the first period. Scoreless hockey game from Kemper. Here come the Aeros. Lamb with Slivchenko. Lamb across the line. Right side backhander. Hit the post. I don't think Urbe saw that, and that thing was cranked off the iron. Now the other way. Jeff Medill right in. Shoots, and he hit the post. Oh, Medill found pipe to the far side, and it's cleared out at center. Slivchenko across the line. Slivy centered for Lamb. Shoots. Stopped by Urbe. And then Lamb slams into Arturs Urbe. It's picked up, though, by Slivchenko. Back to the line. His pass too far. Came out at center, and Laniel will regroup. Still no score, but I'll tell you what, no iron deficiency in this one, folks. Here comes Turgeon the other way. The shot, he scores! Sylvain Turgeon from the right circle, and the Aeros take the lead. It's 1-0.
What a great shot by Turgeon. You know, this guy winds up any chance he can, and he lets it go. And a lot of times it's from far out, and the goaltender gets a good read on it. But here he gets all the way into the top of the circle, and it's a good, low, hard shot. And Arturs Urbe can't get his stick on it. He just winds up, has all kinds of time, and he puts it to the left side underneath the glove of Arturs Urbe. And that's Turgeon's 13th goal of the season. A great hard shot, and Lamb was also in on the play. Didn't get the pass. A good job by Turgeon letting that one fly.
Back underway as it is controlled by the Kansas City Blades and shot out at center ice by Jeff Batters. Aeros turn it around. It goes into the zone, the Kansas City end. Here's Andre Nazarov hooked off the play, bumped by Arniel. It's jammed away by Malgunas. Popped one out in front, but Frederick Oduya is there. And now Dean Grillo romps to center ice with Andre Nazarov. Nazarov across the Aero line. That's chipped away by Arniel. Batters back at center, looped it into the Aero end. Back to play it, Kevin Grant, who will be our first intermission guest. Grant, run into by Nazarov, plays the puck to the near side. side. It's cleared for Donnelly and poked down at center ice. It goes into the Kansas City zone, and Frederick Oduya will chase. 1-0 in favor of the Houston Aeros. Sylvain Turgeon with the goal. Grant Shervin comes out of the net to play behind the cage. Out chip behind Ville Peltonen waiting. Peltonen centered. It came out in front, but it was knocked away. Aeros able to clear it out at center ice. Here come the Houston Aeros. Right side, Conroy trying to move in. He centered one. O'Connor right in. Wait, shoots. Oh, marvelous stop by Irbe, and then it cuts behind the net. Aeros fighting for the loose puck. It's right out in front, but Scremin cleared it. Here come the Blades in transition. Shalhoub with Peltonen. Peltonen across the line, cutting left side, trying to get the shot away. It was wrestled away from Yo, and then he takes his man into the boards. Peltonen still with it. Base of the right circle, centered. It hits skates, and Conroy's off to the races. Al Conroy, right side across the Kansas City line, dropped it. Yo, back. Conroy right in. His centering pass was knocked away by Scremin. And here come the Blades. Right side, Shalhoub hits the line. Shalhoub shoots. Blocker save made by Shervin. Rebound right on, and there was the save made by Grant Shervin. He'll hold on. 1-0. The Aeros lead it. Back right after this. Shaw's 13th of the year. Aeros lead at 1-0, and Houston Aeros hockey sponsored in part by Bud Ice. Come see the Hanson brothers at the IHL Heritage Game featuring the WHA Houston Aeros and the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team. That's this Friday, folks. The Aeros ready for their all-star break. And a face-off now to the left side of Grant Shervin, who has had one save and one go right off the post from Jeff Medill, who's out there with Alexander Cherbayev and Alexei Egorov. Puck is at center ice. It's turned around by Jeff Medill and hooked into the Aero end. Out of the net, Grant Shervin slows fire side, picked up Cherbayev, looped it behind for Medill. Here is Medill, base in the left circle. Medill trying to move it along the boards, bumped by Jakes, poked away by Lamb, and Slivchenko moves it up and out at center ice. Here come the Aeros. Lamb through the neutral zone, tipped one. Turgeon busting in on goal for Lamb. He shoots but couldn't get good wood on it, went wide of the net. Cherbayev fires side, gathers in the puck. He will turn and clear it. 1-0 Houston. 4.5 gone in the first. Kansas City with a puck in their own end. Trying to clear it. Canada was knocked away by Lamb. Then the pucks came back to center, and that is an offsides call. And play is whistled down. You know, you talk about Jeff Medill. Boy, he nearly put one in here.
He did. He has a great shot, and he likes to use it, and he blasts one far side, and it goes right off the pipe. But tell you what, Shervin's going to have to be careful about that. But right before that, Lamb had come down the ice, and he backhands when Irbe didn't see it, and he hit the post at the other end. So we had two pipes in about 20 seconds.
How'd you like to be Jeff Medill? 3 out of the last 4 teams he's played on have been Turner Cup champions.
And that's why they bring him back to Kansas City. They want a little bit of that magic again. He's the kind of guy who will get you 30 to 40 goals every season.
You know, Butch Goring, the head coach of the Grizzlies, he said something kind of interesting about Jeff Medill. He gets 30 or 40 goals, but the funny thing is they always seem to be the big goals. You know, not just a goal if it's 7-0, he gets you the 8th goal. He seems to always be around when you need that big goal. Here's Turgeon the other way, a shot stopped by Irbe. Puck came out in front, and it's popped to center ice. Andrei Nazarov. Nazarov across the Aero blue line. Nazarov trying to drop one for Jeff Batters. Centered one for Grillo. It came out in front. Turgeon popped it away. Here comes Sylvain Turgeon. Get one to center ice for Lamb. He'll turn the pass ahead, and here's Gord Donnelly up on the rush, and he'll dump the puck in. Aeros making changes on the go.
You know, the Aeros are jumping up on the play, the defensemen particularly, but that's because they have someone backing them up on the play all the time. It's good to see.
Back the other way is David Bruce. Lobs one into the Aero end. And back to play it is Miles O'Connor. O'Connor's pass came to Freer. He'll scamper to center with Kelly Hurd. Shoot the puck into the Kansas City zone. Irbe out of the net. And he'll chip one along the glass. Blades fighting for it. Claudio Scremin is there. Trying to get away from Kelly Hurd. And now Vlastimil Krupa lost the puck. Freer knocked it away. Back to get it again is Vlastimil Krupa. Krupa. Pass came out at center ice for Frederick Nielsen. He was scraped off the puck by Krupke. And O'Connor ripped it along the boards for a waiting Scott Arneal, and he'll escort that one to neutral ice. Freer trying to advance one through Scremin. Not going to happen. And the Blades the other way. Nielsen to Shalhoub. Looks for Peltonen. Centered. And that hits skates. Loose puck far side. Peltonen tackled by Krupke. And I think Rob Martell, our referee, has the first penalty coming to Gord Krupke.
Yeah, and it's going to be a holding on Gord Krupke. He had to haul down a Kansas City player on the far side of the net. The puck was centered across. cross and by Shalhoub, and a good chance by Ville Peltonen trying to corral the puck on the far side, and Gord Krupke just wraps his arms around him and hauls him down. That was a pretty good call by Martel, but Shalhoub just slides a nice little pass over, and Krupke takes his man, but then he takes him a little too much, and he takes him right down, and Freer picks up the puck, and there goes the whistle as Rob Martel calls his first penalty of the game.
Shalhoub has played really well after having just a horrible December. As you see Gord Krupke in the box, but Shalhoub has been on fire, especially since getting Ville Peltonen back on his line. He also plays out there with Fredrik Nielsen. Puck is controlled by Kansas City on their power play for the first time tonight. Here's the shot, hammered wide. It was actually deflected away by Grant Shervin. Cherbayev back to the line for Krupa. Get it to Cherbayev, waiting along the right side. Alexander Cherbayev, slick skating right winger, gets one Krupa back. Cherbayev sends one right down. That hit skates. It's popped back to the line. Can Krupa hold? No, he cannot. It's back out at center ice. It is Vlastimil Krupa turning it neutral ice. Give the puck to Claudio Scremin, right wing board, center ice, hands it back to Krupa. And the Blades in transition, trying to bring it across line. They trail 1-0, but have time remaining on the power play. Puck for Jeff Medill, gets through the check of Kevin Grant. Medill along the far boards, bumps one behind the cage. That was worked away by O'Connor, but not out. Krupa held at a right point. Worked one for Alexei Yegorov. Back to the line for Krupa. Tees it up, shoots. That was blocked, never made it to Shervin. And Kevin Grant will clear it out at center ice. Penalty down to 1 minute. That's what remains to Krupke, and here's Yegorov the other way. Yegorov for Kansas City. Drifting down the right side, waiting, sets up the power play. He's got Medill in front, but gets it back to the line for Scremin. Popped it behind the Aero cage. Fighting for it, Kevin Grant, trying to wrestle it away from Medill. Into the corner it came for Cherbayev. Cherbayev to Yegorov. Yegorov's pass goes too far to go back down into the Blade zone. 12:28 to go in the first. 1-0 Houston, 35 seconds remaining in the Blade power play. Scremin. Give it to Dean Grillo. His pass tipped away, and the Aeros will move it ahead, and Freer will just shoot it down the ice and then come off for a line change. Out of the net, Arturs Urbe, and he'll send it in behind for Sergei Belton. Belton's pass came out to the left side for Andrei Nazarov through the neutral zone. Nazarov across the line, bumped off the puck by Donnelly and shot back down the ice. Power play is down to 9 seconds, so that pretty well should do it. Puck is controlled by Nazarov. Make that Belton. Get the puck to Grillo. Lead pass block. Power play is over. Krupke back out on the ice. We're at 5 aside. Mark Lamb, right wing boards, bumped by Paul Dick. And back to play it is David Bruce. Bruce in behind his net. Threw one off Arneal's skates. It came to the near side. Nazarov, he'll move it out at center ice. Aeros regroups Smitchenko. Give it to Miles O'Connor. He'll fire it into the Kansas City zone where Urbe will slow it. Snap a pass for Nazarov and move it out at center ice. Nazarov pass down the left side for Pelton. And in a long wait, shoots. Oh, what a save by Shervin. I think he got a glove on that as Peltonen snuck in behind the defense. Oh boy, big save there. And now a penalty coming up to Nazarov. The Aeros are going to be on the power play when we return. 11:15 to go in the first. It's the Aeros 1, the Blades nothing. Back with the Aero power play right after this.
Well, Peltonen gets in there, but he gets a little help right here, right there, and it gives Peltonen a clear lane straight down the edge. And I tell you what, Miles O'Connor gets interfered with there, but he's saved by a great save by Shervin.
Boy, you're getting good with that. Of course, we'd like to let everyone know we got a little telestrator tonight to help us out. Good job. Where'd you learn to write like that? Give me your crayon
That's
back.
my grade 1 crayon.
Oh, man. Here comes O'Connor. At center ice for Turgeon. Aeros on the power play, first of the night. Here is Sylvain Turgeon. Along the right side, a puck down for Yo. Trying to jam one away. Sylvain Turgeon there. Looks back to the line for Lamb. That was poked away, but not out. Nielsen trying to clear it. It came back down and behind the net. Urbe wanted to play it, but it was cleared. Conroy fighting for it. Now the puck jammed behind Frederick Goduya, slams one to the line, not out. Lamb held. Here's O'Connor. Winds one over. Turgeon shoots, and a stop made by Urbe. Puck to the far corner. It's poked away and cleared all the way back into the Aero end. Tell you, the Blades penalty killing has been terrific as of late. They've surrendered just 4 goals in their last 37 shorthanded opportunities. This is number 38. Their penalty killing now 10th in the IHL at 82.6%. Here comes Freer right side, the other way for Houston. Pulls up right side, sends one down, blocked by Scremin. Aeros trying to gather in the puck, but Scremin was able to clear it, and it will bounce its way back into the Aero end. 39 seconds remaining in the penalty to Andrei Nazarov. Aeros lead it 1-0 on the 13th goal from Sylvain Turgeon. Freer across the line, slides one Arneal back to the line. Kelly Hurd. He tossed one for Laniel. Tipped it for Slivchenko, and now it's turned for Freer. Cross ice pass, Hurd shoots right on, and there's the save made by Arturs Urbe. He will hold on.
Good job by Urbe there, getting his body in front of that puck. It was kind of a little bit of a screen, but he hung on to it.
Folks, your Houston Aeros, well, it's this weekend. The 1996 IHL All-Star Game. 3 fun-filled days. It starts with a Friday night extravaganza with the 1980 U.S. Olympic team. They take on the 74 AFCO Cup champion Houston Aeros. There's a concert by Bruce Hornsby in the range. Weekend includes a charity golf tournament, a kids anti-gang rally, ice fest. Oh, by the way, a game between the Western Conference All-Stars and the Eastern Conference All-Stars, all from January 12th through the 14th. Tickets are on sale now at all Ticketmaster locations in the Summit box office. Aeros lead at 1-0. They've got 8 seconds left on the power play. And they're back in their own end. Here is Freer. He'll move to center ice, pass Arneal. Right wing, cutting in, looks for Laniel. Shoots, deflected away, and the penalty is over. Nazarov back out on the ice. Here's a pass shot all the way down. Shervin out of the net to play. We're back at even strength. Shervin. Chipped one far side. It's picked up by Alexei Yegorov. Trying to center when it was intercepted by Freer. Freer right side will gently roll it into the Kansas City zone. And the Aeros will make changes. Here come the Blades. A pass near side. Center ice to Zara. Pushed away, and Yo back into his own end for Kevin Grant. Aeros from right to left. Here is Mike Maurice. Dropped one for Yo. Cutting right circle. Ready to go. Great save by Urbe, and he'll hold on. So after a good goal by Sylvain Turgeon, Urbe has settled down with some great saves. It's 1-0 Houston. 8:40 to go. We'll be back after this. Saturday night on ice continues January 21st. The Aeros make their only trip to the Delta Center to take on the Utah Grizzlies, the defending Turner Cup champions. We'll have all the action right here on UPN 20 and 950 KPRC. Let's go downstairs to Rob Dobson. Dauber, how about the start the boys have put together?
Well, they've done a good job, Adam. I think one thing we've done the last couple of games is we really started to support each other. And as you see, that we always have 3 men back, and we've got guys standing up, and that allows our defense to get up in the play and be more creative and really shut down their play before they can get any momentum to our line. And as a result, you know, they've only had 4 shots on goal, and you know, it creates a lot of turnovers for us. And also, so far to now, it's been a great period for us.
Thank you. We'll be going to Rob Dobson periodically throughout the hockey game as he backs up Grant Shervin tonight. Puck is controlled by Kansas City, and here they come. It is Paul Dick through the neutral zone. Pass Nazarov across the line. Cuts to the slot. Hands one to David Bruce. Bruce moving down the left side. Meandered around. Malguna shoots. Blocked. Loose puck. In front. Shot. Score! Dean Grillo found the loose puck and blew it by Grant Shervin, and it's a 1-1 hockey game.
Well, it became a little scrambly in front as a good job by the Aero defense to block that. I think it was Gord Donnelly who blocked the original shot by Bruce. But afterwards, they couldn't find the puck, and I think Grillo did, and he fires in his 6th of the year on this shot. But Bruce comes in, and Donnelly makes a good job of blocking, but afterwards they can't find the puck. Grillo finally gets it, and he snaps it 5-hole on Shervin, who wasn't quite sure where the puck was. Just a good play, just no one picked up Grillo as he pulled it out of the skates of Donnelly, and he chips it in there, and Shervin wasn't sure where it was until it was by him.
So the goal goes to Dean Grillo, but a nice assist for David Bruce. And it's a 1-1 hockey game. Puck back in the arrow end. Here's Nielsen with a shot. That ricocheted wide of the cage. It's Ville Peltonen. Shoots one behind the net. It came to the near side. Nielsen chipped one for Shalhoub. Base of the right circle. He's bumped by Yo. Peltonen back to the line. Oduya, the shot deflected right in. And Shervin had to be heads up on that one.
That was a great save because it was deflected right in front.
Puck is back into the arrow end. So it's a 1-1 hockey game with 7:35 to go in the first. It is Gord Krupke, a pass for Yo. He'll snap one rink wide. It goes into the Kansas City zone. Oduya has to hustle back, but instead Arturs Urbe goes back. Chipped one along the boards. And it is cleared to center ice, and Shalhoub's got a man to beat O'Connor. Shalhoub makes his move, shoots, and he hooked it wide. Tell you what, O'Connor was almost beat on that play, but O'Connor showed great composure staying with him and forced him with a tough shot. It is Yo. A rink-wide pass blocked by Krupa. It's back into the arrow end. Al Conroy slides one to center, but Krupa worked on by Maurice, and it's Claudio Screbin for Kansas City. Right side across the line, cuts to the slot, shoots, and that is hooked wide of the net. Kelly Hurd chipped one out at center ice, and Sherbayev will go back to play it. Under 7 minutes to go in the first 1-1 hockey game. Screbin gives the puck to Yegorov across the line. Yegorov turning left side, center one. That was poked away by Shervin. And the Aeros getting a little scrambly right now, as you mentioned earlier. Puck picked up by Kelly Hurt, shakes off one check, cutting in, and then he was hooked a little bit by Pelton, and or actually that was Yegeroff that got back, and it's cleared out at center ice. Jakes fell, trying to turn one ahead. Here is Jakes. Give the pass to Freer as he hits the Kansas City line. Freer dropped one back for Mark Laniel, and that was poked away by Jeff Medill, and here come the Houston Aeros, Arneal. At center ice, trying to find first. Scremin knocked that away, and Jeff Medill moves it ahead for Claudio Scremin. Right now, play between the blue lines at center ice. Nobody really getting anything started through the neutral zone. The Aeros have to go back to play it. Here's Mark Laniel in the corner, takes a bump from Dean Grillo. Jakes is there, gives the slip check. I'll tell you, we talked about the Aeros having to be physical, but it's been Kansas City that has come out and thrown the body. It is Arneal, slides one down the ice. This will not be icing. Survey will play it. David Bruce at center. Trying to fire one ahead. It goes into the Aero end, and out of the net, Grant Sherman. Grant in the corner, trying to shake off a check from Andrei Nazarov. And Grant just waiting to bring the puck out. We're down to 5:28 to go in the first period in a 1-1 hockey game. Grant fires one out at center, and Sergei Belton is there, retreats to his own blue line, fired the pass ahead. Nazarov couldn't find the handle. Grillo played it and slides it into the Aero end. Here's Gord Donnelly back to play. Gives to Turgeon. Sylvain Turgeon gently rolled it into the Kansas City zone. Frederick Aduya goes back to play it. Chipped one near side. It was knocked away by Turgeon. Gives one in front. Slivchenko hit his skates, and here come the Blades. It is Pelton, and shoots, and a save made by Sherman. And Turgeon turns in transition. Flying at center ice. Sylvain Turgeon shoots, and he ripped the ball wide. Rebound came out in front, but Oduya was able to slide that back to neutral ice. Scampering back is Krupke. Popped it ahead for Lamb, but the Blades are back, and that is a two-line pass, and we'll take time out. It's the Blades 1, the Aeros 1. Under 5 minutes to go in the first. Don't be sly. We'll be back after this. Adam Gordon, Mike Greenlay back at Kemper Arena in Kansas City, a 1-1 hockey game. And off the face-off, the Blades shoot the puck into the Aero end. Puck goes to the far corner. Krupke trying to clear it. He takes a bump from Ville Peltonen. And we're going to get a penalty, I think, on Krupke again as Sherman makes a save. Krupke to play it. And I think Krupke's going to get called for another penalty here.
I think it might be hooking, as there's a Kansas City player who's dragged down on the play. And I think it's going to be Mike Maurice that takes the call deep in the zone. You know, they're working hard along the boards. A couple good hits, one of them by Krupke, but I think Maurice took a little bit too much hook on a Kansas City player, and so Kansas City will get their second power play opportunity of the period.
So into the box is Mike Maurice, and a 1-1 hockey game, and the Blades go back on the power play. And this line that they've got out, as you look at Dave Tippett, who's 1-0 as a head coach, they've got Fredrik Nielsen, Jan Shalun, and Ville Peltonen. And this line has played some terrific hockey as of late. This has really brought up Jan Shalun's play as of late. Shalun has had multi-point games now, and six times this year, and he's getting back to his status that he had last year as a shot drizzles down onto Grant Sherman. But Jan Shalun, here's a guy that was a candidate for Rookie of the Year last year and got off to a good start this year, but then really struggled in the month of December.
And, you know, fans in Houston probably didn't see Shalun because he got benched in December for a couple games there. But I tell you what, after he came back, he really lit it up, really lighting it up, getting 11 goals in something like 12 games.
Puck is in the Aero end. Blades on the power play. Peltonen right side back to the line for Jeff Batters. Slides it down for Nielsen. Gives to Ville Peltonen. Peltonen takes a bump along the boards from Krupke. Krupke trying to slide it away as he's in there with Nielsen. It squirts to Peltonen. Cuts right in on goal. And he was ridden off by Conroy. Al Conroy makes a nice defensive play there. Puck along the far boards. Kick down Peltonen. Back to the line for Oduya. Wide. Shoots. Stopped by Sherman. Marvelous play there. Picked up by Shalun along the right side. Jan Shalun waiting. Still with a puck though. Looks for the pass. Cross ice. Stead sends one down. Nielsen to Peltonen. Got it right off his stick and then couldn't really work the shot in there. And Krupke will hammer that down the ice. 1:07 left to Maurice. 3.5 to go in the first 1-1 hockey game.
Good job penalty killing by the Houston Aeros. You know, you were mentioning Shalun. He does come into this game with an 11-point point scoring streak. So they're going to have to watch him along with his line mate Yegorov.
Puck is controlled by Kansas City, and the Blades will turn it from left to right. It's picked up by the Blades, and Jeff Batters puts it into the Aero zone. It was poked by McGill, and they're going to say that is offsides or a two-line pass, and they'll bring the face-off all the way back down the ice. And let's take a look at tonight's first period shots on goal. They're sponsored by Hilo Auto Parts. You can get an auto part anywhere, but what you need is Hilo. And the Blades out shooting Houston 10-8. And the Blades also have 40 seconds left on the power play here.
Well, the Blades at home right now are 14.3%. That's 17th in the IHL. And there's a man, a couple of them right there, trying to run off the rest of this power play and turn things around for the Houston Aeros, trying to get that lead back again.
Off the face-off, Blades have got it. Vlastimil Krupa in the corner, trying to turn it along the near side. Yegerov got it to Medill, and it came out at center ice. Gord Donnelly picks it up at center and hooks it into the Kansas City zone. Claudio Scremin in behind his net. Let's chip one for Yegerov, get it back to Scremin, and he'll move the puck out at center ice for Krupa. Shuffles a pass for Cherbayev. Here comes Alexander Cherbayev, knocked off the puck by Kevin Grant. Grant trying to snap one out of there. Cannot, picked up again by Cherbayev, who wheels with 9 on the power play. Cherbayev, puck one back to the line. Scremin. Here is Krupa. Waits, centered, tipped away by Donnelly. Got it to the line, not out. But Maurice back out on the ice. Teams at 5 aside. Yegerov to Cherbayev, centered it. It was knocked away by Kevin Grant. The Aeros in transition the other way. Freer romping through the neutral zone. Hits the line. Freer tries to make his move. Gives to Maurice, cutting behind the cage. Centered, but Herbe swats that away. Yegerov gives to the near side for Scremin. Yegerov, sounds like a drink I should order tonight. Order a Yegerov. Here's Medill. Pops one into the arrow end, and Jakes is back. Here's one to the near side. Yo. Now for Conroy. Conroy left side across the line. Conroy busting in. Now worked on by Paul Dick in the corner. Conroy, good work in the corner, though. Give it to Yo. Slides one down for Maurice. Aeros trying to work it in the corner. Yo. He's taken away by Dean Grillo. And Nazarov cleared it out at center ice. We're down to 1:40 in the first. 1-1 game. Grillo trying to shake off a check, but Maurice picked his pocket. And it's back into the Blades' end. Paul Dick. Here's one to Sergei Mountain. Bounces the pass to Nazarov. It takes a weird hop. Sherman thought it was going behind the net. It took a hop off the boards and went right in on goal. Here's a puck that takes another hop and came out in front.
That's the second one that's gone off the glass this period for the Houston Aeros.
Now it is Slivchenko. Shoots, and a sharp angle shot blocked by Herbe. Down to 1:08 to play in the first. 1-1 hockey game. Andre Nazarov shoots one into the arrow end. Back to play is Miles O'Connor. And away the Aeros come as we're down to the final minute. Puck is at center ice. Turgeon trying to move one ahead. Instead goes to O'Connor. Hands to Krupke. Loose puck at center as we're down to 47 seconds. Miles O'Connor for Houston. Chips one high in the air. That will bounce at center for Slivchenko. Across the line for Lamb. Lamb center. Turgeon's shot. Couldn't get it away. And Herbe escorts it loose. And we're going to get a penalty on the Kansas City Blades. Behind the play, it's going to be interference on, I think it'll be Jeff Batters.
It will. He hauled down Slivchenko behind the play. They were breaking up ice, but instead of back checking Slivchenko, he just took the stick out and tripped him a little bit. And from that, he gets the penalty. But right off the bat, Turgeon there trying to get his second goal of the game. The puck's turned up ice, and you see Slivchenko going down at the edge of your screen there if you're enjoying the game on UPN 20. And so Batters not happy with the call, but he still will get the call. The Aeros will get their second power play opportunity of the period.
You talk about the Kansas City Blades, and there's their head coach, Vasily Tikhonov. He's got a lot of European players, and we talked about it just a little bit in the pregame show. But you talk about the Foreign Legion, and there's 8 guys there, including the coach at the bottom, that are of the European descent. And that is the way the San Jose Sharks, their parent club, like it. And now the Aeros come the other way on the power play. Maurice, a wrist shot that sails up over the glass and out of play.
And that's probably why we should just mention again one of the big keys of the game that we did talk about, and that is hitting. Haven't been a lot of hitting by the Houston Aeros right off the bat here, and that would probably work to their advantage, because when you hit players, especially players like Europeans who like the open ice, they like to work the puck around, make nice passes, and stick handle a lot. But if you work it, or if you start hitting them, get Mike Maurice and Laniel throwing the body around there and guys like that, then you're going to slow them down, and it's going to be to your advantage.
Face off to the right side of Arthur Zerbe. 18 seconds left in the period. The game is tied at 1. Aeros are on the power play. Laniel to Kelly Hurd. Slides one for Mike Maurice. It went to the corner for Freer. Mark Freer trying to move one ahead. It was knocked away. Down to 8 seconds. Aeros enough maybe to set up one play. Freer behind the net trying to poke one for Arneil. Scremin was there, and that's going to be the period as the horn sound, and 20 minutes are done from Kemper Arena. A very exciting period as the Aeros took a 1-0 lead, but then found themselves in a tie hockey game after Dean Grillo had tied it. When we return, we chat with Kevin Grant. It's the Aeros 1, the Blades 1, and this is a special edition of Saturday Night on Ice.
Here we go, Adam.
Back in Kemper Arena, it's a 1-1 hockey game. Adam Gordon along with Mike Greenley. Green, that was a terrific period of hockey. Even though I thought the Aeros could have played a little more physical, I still thought it was a good period of hockey.
Yes, it was. It got a little scrambly at times in the Houston Aeros zone, but they were able to clear the puck out eventually and not give the Kansas City Blades too many chances.
You know, the Houston Aeros have been looking for solid goaltending all year, and once again, Grant Shervin played terrific.
He did. He made a lot of great saves, especially that one on Peltonen when Peltonen walked in all alone. So he looks solid in there, and the defense are playing solid, so hopefully they can come out and get one at the beginning of the second period.
I'll tell you what, we've been talking all year about getting Kevin Grant into the lineup and playing well, and it's great to see Kevin Grant back, and he joins us here in the first period. Kevin, first of all, welcome back to the lineup.
Well, thanks very much, Adam. It's been a long, frustrating year for me, and it's finally glad to be back in the lineup.
Let me ask you about that first period. It seemed like it was a little more wide open. Is that kind of by design for you guys?
Well, no, we kind of got away from our game plan a little bit. We have to tighten up our game plan a little bit. We can't get into a shinny type game with a talented club like this. We want to get back to our system and play good defensive hockey.
You know, Kevin, I see a lot of defensemen jumping up in the play quite a bit. Has Dave Tippett talked about guys covering up for that defenseman that's pinching in quite a bit?
Yeah, we pretty much have a green light now for one defenseman to go, so long as there's one winger back. And when that comes into a factor, other teams have trouble defending against that.
Let me ask you now that Dave Tippett has taken over as head coach, and you talked about this new system. For you guys, has it been tough to adjust, or is it nice having these 2 games in about a week and a half span to help adjust?
Well, absolutely. When we have time to practice like this, there's no question that helps our club. I mean, throughout the first half of the year through December, it's just a hectic schedule. We barely had any time to get practice done, but now that we do have these days off, well, not playing days, and it really helps our club.
Kevin, you've been plagued with a couple injuries this year, and you've been in and out of the lineup. You're a very physical player. Is that tough for you does that make you feel tentative out there right now, or are you just right back into the swing of things?
Well, I mean, I guess that's the toughest part, is coming back from an injury and trying to get your feel back. But you just got to go back in there and try not to miss a beat. And once you start thinking about stuff, that's when you're going to get injured again.
I'd like to get your thoughts on the play of Grant Shervin. This guy's come in now, and this is his 4th start. He seems to have settled things down for you guys a little bit.
Well, no question about it. Grant's come in and done a great job for us. He's made the big stops when we needed them, and, well, like the stats say, he hasn't allowed an even strength goal until tonight. But, we really needed something like that to give our team a boost.
Kevin, thank you very much for taking the time. Great to see big number 5 back in the lineup.
Thanks very much, Adam.
All right, defenseman Kevin Grant joins us in the first intermission. It's the Aeros 1, the Blades 1, and we'll take a look at the highlights right after this. First intermission, Adam Gordon alongside Mike Greenley. And, in the interview there with Kevin Grant, Kevin was kind of talking about getting away from the game plan. Talk a little bit more about that. What does he mean?
Well, I think what he means is that the Aeros this period are going to have to get down deep in the Kansas City zone a little more, put a little pressure on the defensemen of Kansas City, work the puck and win the battles in the corners, so the get some turnovers and cause some goal scoring chances for themselves.
Okay, just 2 goals scored in that period, won by both hockey clubs. The Aeros got on the board first. Sylvain Turgeon gets his 13th of the year at .216. Big slap shot from the right circle from Vadim Slivchenko and Steve Jakes, and the Aeros had a 1-0 lead, but back come the Blades at 11:48. Dean Grillo found a loose puck and tied the game at 1. David Bruce and Andrei Nazarov get the assist. Well, our UPN cameras again have been very busy, and we decided we wanted to put a little wireless mic on Mike Greenley, and I know you've been wanting to get back into the pipes here, so we wired up Mike Greenley. We just thought it'd be kind of neat to let him wander around practice with a wireless mic and kind of get the inside scoop and bring it to you guys back home, and let's take a look at that. Hockey fans all over Texas are just dying to find out what life on the ice is like with the Houston Aeros. So we secretly placed a hidden microphone on Mike Greenley, goaltender.
color analyst. And we asked him to give us the inside look on the ice. Here's a little sample of what we found.
Let's go see what kind of damage we can do out here. Oh, see?
Before you even get a chance to come in.
Is it one of those stop in the name of love?
That's when you're going to fight a guy.
Is that one of the, is that a Supreme?
You're in a fight. You're in a fight.
You're in a fight?
And you're just sitting there like this, and you're wrestling, and all of a sudden you go, boom.
Yeah, but that's before the fight.
I felt it.
That's before the fight, right?
You want a piece? Yeah, you want to fight me?
Oh, you're going to get real serious.
No, I'm not going to get it. I'll show you the trick.
Oh, yeah, and then you throw your glove at him.
You walk in, yeah. Right in the face of that head. It's coming right at you.
Does that work?
Oh, every time.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Scotty, if in doubt, just slash him.
Do whatever it takes.
Do whatever it takes. That's right. Oh, denied. Oh, denied. Right back to him. Again. Oh, take care of your own end first.
Well, I should have been in the fence and slipped my brother.
Yeah. How is Stewart doing anyways? Playing in Winnipeg right now. Oh, here comes Mark Lyle. He's going to go a little stick. Oh, here he comes. Oh. Look at Sudsy on the bench. I guess he's being coached. He's got the tie and the jacket on. Sudsy is the interim coach for the East team. Uh-oh. Little giveaway. We got 2-on-1. Lanyell, Maurice. Lanyell, he's going to wind up, but he's going to pass it. Here it goes. Oh, he burnt me. Oh, we have a breakaway. Kemper Malguna shoots. Oh, saved by Gamble. Corey backcourt. Oh, saved by Greenway. Hunter, you're up next. Valamount, you're on the right side. Hey, Jakes, where the hell are you going? Did I tell you you're up next? I guess the inmates are running the prison.
It's like that in the broadcast booth also. Greener runs the asylum up here. It's a 1-1 hockey game. We'll have more from Kemper after this.
Sometimes guys forget to use the body, and then once they do, they realize how successful it helps them be. So hopefully they'll come out and be hitting. All right, let's take a look at the highlights from that first period. A couple looks at both goals, and Greener started off with Turgeon's. Well, Turgeon just comes down, and he has Lamb, but he doesn't use him. He uses him as a decoy, and he just winds up and fires one. And I tell you what, it's a great shot because Urbe has good position. But Turgeon, it's an NHL shot, and Urbe might not know that, but the shot goes right on the outside of his pad here, and it's just a great low hard shot right inside the post. What a perfect shot by Turgeon. He gets his 13th of the season. And then the Blades come back and tie it. Well, this is a good play by Donnelly. I think he leads a team in block shots. He blocks it right there, but the problem is the puck gets lost, and where it gets lost is right in his skates. Nobody can find it, and the goaltender, he can't see it because it's a screen. What happens is Grillo pulls it out, and he fires it 5-hole, and Grillo gets his 6th of the season. So the Aeros and the Blades tied at 1, and let's take a look at the first period stats. They're brought to you by Chrysler Plymouth. 10-9. The Blades out shooting the Houston Aeros. 6 faceoffs for Kansas City, 4 for the Houston Aeros. Both teams 2 penalties for 4 minutes. The Aeros still have some time on their power play to start the second period. The Blades are 0 for 2 on the power play. We'll bring you the second period right after this.
In Kemper Arena, Adam Gordon along with Mike Greenlay. The Aeros and the Blades tied at 1. The Aeros have a minute 31 to work on a penalty to Jeff Batters. Try and take the lead. And here's Al Conroy, Mike Yo, Sylvain Turgeon with a defensive tandem of Mark Lamb and Miles O'Connor. Aeros go left to right in this period. Off the face-off, here is Lamb. He'll slide the puck near side. That's broken up by David Bruce, who I'm surprised is seeing limited ice time. Usually one of their top scoring guys, and he hasn't seen a lot of ice tonight. Here is a pass. Mark Lamb gets one to center for O'Connor. Left side. Shoots one into the Kansas City zone. Artur Zerbe comes out to slow. Jam one near side. Turgeon tackled by Bruce, and Grillo will push it all the way down the ice. Power play down to a minute. Here is Miles O'Connor as he will move it up ice. O'Connor through the neutral zone. Tossed a pass for Lamb as he hits the line. Lamb trying to move around Scremin. Can't do it. Scremin in the corner. Took the puck and shot it all the way back to center ice. O'Connor in a foot race with Ville Peltonen, and he'll turn and fire it off the boards. It came out at center. Aeros turn. They have a 3-on-2 if they can hurry. Turgeon run off the puck. That is offsides, and play is whistled down. There is 34 seconds remaining in the power play with a minute gone in the first. 1-1 hockey. Let's go down to Rob Dobson. Dauber, what was talked about in the locker room there as far as changes for the second period?
Well, I think all in all, we did a pretty good job. You know, we started off pretty strong and stuck to our game plan. We had a little bit of a lapse there in the middle where we gave up some quality chances, but I think it was just a question of us turning the puck over too early at the blue line and not being able to get the puck in deep and work the system we want to work. So we just have to get back to what we wanted to do and continue on with that.
Thank you, Dauber. It's 1-1. Aeros still on the power play, but Sergei Boughton for Kansas City cleared it out at center ice. Arniel right side, drifting back to his own blue line, and he'll move it up ice. Here comes Arniel. Bring it across the Kansas City blue line. His pass went behind everybody, but picked up by the trailer Laniel. He turned it over to Paul Dick. Dick in his own end gets it to Nielsen out at center, but it went off the skates of Ville Peltonen. Back into the blade zone. Boughton takes a whack at it, and it's finally out at center ice. Jakes turning it neutral. Fired one ahead for Arniel, trying to feather one for Freer. He'll turn on the power play right side, and now the power play is over as he centered one for Kelly Hurd, but it went wide. Power play just expired. Teams are at 5 aside. Freer behind the net, centered in front, but it was popped away by Ville Peltonen and cleared to center. Jeff Batters, right side, shoots one into the arrow end as Shervin comes out to play it. Aeros in their own end. Jakes wings a pass to Freer at center. Freer trying to move one ahead. It goes into the Kansas City zone, and Urbe will slow. Swats one far side for Batters. He's popped by Arniel. Kelly Hurd down the left side, trying to move one out in front. That was knocked away. And here's Alexei Yegorov. Yegorov through the neutral zone, hits the line, tipped away by Jakes, and he cleared it out at center ice. Sherbayev for Oduya, left side, and he'll hand it back to Jeff Batters, turning in his own end. Batters, long lead pass, picked up by Medill, but taken away by Jakes. Al Conroy trying to find a breaking Slivchenko, who's knocked off the puck by Oduya. Nice play there, and Jeff Batters goes back. Oduya in the corner. Rolled one near side, but Kevin Grant pinching right side, slides one down, that's knocked away. Medill will clear it. Now Yegorov off the center. Lead pass, Cherbayev's in on goal. Waits, turns, shoots. Great save by Shervin. Loose puck, it's centered. The shot blocked. Shervin was in no man's land, but there was his backup goalie, Gord Donnelly, in front. Another shot deflected wide. Tell you, Gord Donnelly a number of times this year has been the guy in front to block shots, and I can't think of a better guy in front. Now the puck turned over by Cherbayev, and it's out at center ice.
Yeah, like I said in the break there, Gord Donnelly has blocked so many shots this year. He definitely leads defenseman in that category for the Houston Aeros.
Here come the Aeros the other way. Turgeon had it poke check, and the blades go the other way. Here comes Yegorov with Nazarov. Nazarov overskates the puck, and the Aeros turn it around. It's opening up some more, folks. Here comes Conroy across the line with Slivchenko. Slivchenko going off for a line change, so he kind of left Conroy hung to dry there along the near side, and the blades take over. Yegorov for Vlastimil Krupa. Gives to David Bruce. Cuts to the slot. His shot blocked, but that's offsides, and will take timeout. 3.5 gone. First period, 1-1 hockey game. We'll be back after this.
Still one at Kemper, but Cherbayev tries to make that different as he comes down, fakes a shot, and walks around. But Shervin gets the shaft of his stick on it, and eventually the puck comes back out front, but Donnelly does a good job in front as well as Grant. But I tell you what, Turgeon does it offensively. Look at him defensively here as he comes back, lifts the stick, and helps back check on that 3-on-2. Great job by Turgeon as well.
Well, you get him playing defense as well as offense, and you get him becoming a complete player, and that's really going to help things out.
Yeah, he has 6 goals, 14 assists for 20 points in his last 16 games, so he's doing it offensively for sure, and now defensively as well.
He's going to be in the All-Star game on Saturday, along with Mark Laniel. Look forward to watching those two go at it, along with the rest of the IHL All-Stars. But we still got some hockey to play here from Kemper Arena. Here come the Blades. Andrei Nazarov across the line. Had it tipped by Krupke. Nazarov right side. Jam one down for Dean Grillo. Pursuing is O'Connor. Puck in the near corner. It came along the boards, and Lamb chipped one out at center ice. Right side, here is Claudio Scremin trying to bring one in. He looks down the left side, that's tipped away. Loose puck gobbled up, and the Blades turning. Here's Fredrik Nielsen, shoots, and a stick save made by Grant Shervin. Puck to the near side, Malgunas chips one out at center ice. Back of the Blades. Fredrik Nielsen turning at center, trying to bring one across the line. It goes into the zone, and back to play it is Miles O'Connor. O'Connor Base of the left circle. Give one to Lamb. He will turn at center ice and fire one ahead. It goes into the Kansas City zone. Sergei Boughton. Here's the center. Here's Nielsen. And he'll turn it across the line with Peltonen and Shalhoub. It's jammed away by Krupke and back to center ice. 5 minutes gone in the second period. A 1-1 hockey game. Krupke threw one off the skates of Arneal. And Nielsen hooked on the play. Ooh, looked like that could have been a penalty. Freer was kind of going for the old water ski ride and didn't really move his feet on it, but I think he got away with one. Boughton in behind the net. Boughton turning with a pass to the near side for Fredrik Nielsen. Nielsen to center. The pass, Shalhoub across the line. Takes a bump, stays with a puck though. Shalhoub trying to move one along. It was tipped away by Jakes, and it's back out at center ice. Ville Peltonen, and that is offsides in play. Is whistled down. 14:24 to go in the second, and a 1-1 hockey game. Friday night at 7, when C. Thomas Howell gave Rutger Hauer a lift, he had no idea of the nightmare that was waiting for him. Jennifer Jason Leigh co-stars in The Hitcher later this week on UPN 20. Well, there's Mark Laniel. For those of you watching on UPN 20, we talked about him and Sylvain Turgeon. They're going to be in the IHL All-Star game this weekend, and I'll tell you what, it's good to see the hometown heroes going at it this week. And if you have not gotten your tickets, folks, you better get them, because it looks like the event, not only Friday but Saturday night, going to be sold out.
Yeah, it's going to be a real busy weekend in Houston. All of the IHL will have its eyes on the best of the IHL, and it's good to see Laniel and Turgeon representing the Houston Aeros.
I see Pokey Reddick is now going to be one of the goaltenders for the Western Conference after Tommy Salo from Utah got called up by the Islanders. That's bad news for the Utah Grizzlies, and I guess good news for the rest of the IHL. Although I hate to see a quality goaltender like that. He is so much fun to watch, but he really does belong in the NHL. He is a terrific goaltender, and I'm happy for him. He's a quality individual as well. Puck is at center ice, and I think we're going to get a penalty on the Houston Aeros as Yegorov was tripped up, and Kansas City will go on the power play as Gord Donnelly will take a seat. And while they sort out the penalties, let's take time out. 1-1 our score. We're back at Kemper after this. Excited about their power play. They decided to start without us, and we're tied at 1. Blades trying to move it right side to Zaroff. Watched by Laniel. Zaroff at the hash marks right side. Gets one back to Oduya. Top of the slot. Wide. Shoots. Deflected right on. Shervin makes the save, and he will hold on. I'll tell you, Grant Shervin making a nice save, but I was going to talk about Andrei Nazarov a little bit here. What an interesting story. Last year, he was suspended for 10 games from the IHL. As you take a look at the reverse angle from the Oduya slap shot here, as he lets one fly, and a nice save made by Shervin, but he was suspended for 10 games for high-sticking Eric Dubois. He broke his jaw and was suspended, but the day he was suspended, he went up to the NHL. He was called up by the Sharks. His first or second game got suspended by the NHL for another incident similar to that. The only guy I know that's been suspended in 2 leagues.
Yeah, he did. He did have a little bit of trouble. Of course, he's just back from San Jose now, and he played 38 games for them, 6 goals, 7 assists, and he's back to try and help out the Kansas City Blades.
He's got an assist on the goal. Here's Shalhoub right side with 56 on the power play. A drive right on, stopped by Shervin. Aeros turn, and Lamb will snap one down the ice.
Shervin looking really sharp, and you know, one of the reasons why he plays so well is he gets up fast after a save. He jumps to his feet, and that gives him a good chance.
Here's a centering pass in front as Conroy doing a good job killing off the penalty. Krupa takes Conroy into the corner. They collide into the corner. Conroy sends one out in front for Yeo, but couldn't find the handle, and Peltonen is there. Ville Peltonen on the power play across the line. He's got Shalhoub far side, but he's also got O'Connor on his case. Back to the line. Here's Scremin the drive, high and wide of the cage, and that'll be picked up by Yeo. And with 15 seconds left on the power play, Yeo will just skate to center and shoot it down ice. Aeros have really not tested Artur Zerbe in this period. It's Yegorov. Center hits the line. Penalty, though, is down to 2 seconds on Donnelly. Peltonen slides one into the corner, and Turgeon got clipped with a high stick. Or actually, that's Krupke that got cut with a high stick. And I think we're going to get a penalty on Alexei Yegorov.
And he is bleeding,
yep.
So Yegorov might be out of the game.
He'll get at least 4.
He's going to get 4, so that would be huge for the Aeros, but it's still going to help as he gets 4 minutes. He'll sit, and the Aeros will have a good chance to take another lead here in this game. It's a low-scoring game.
Well, they may have given him 2. We'll sort that out. But first, look at the scheduling for the Kansas City Blades. This is they will be playing 9 straight games at Kemper Arena from the 6th through the 31st of this month. Houston, this is just their 2nd game in 16 days.
Talk about a homestand.
Let's go down to Rob Dobson. Dobber, when you look at the Aeros scheduling 2 games in 16 days, when you get a new coach like Dave Tippett, is that nice to work in the new system and have that time?
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that management looked at when they made the decision to make the change, is that we had a lot of time to work on some things, you know, as mentioned, to kind of have a mini training camp. And I think more than anything to refocus everyone on what we had to do. Things hadn't been going very well for us the first half, and it allowed an opportunity for Dave to come in and give his views and put his system in place, and everyone a lot of time to get adjusted to the change.
All right, thank you, Dauber. They are going to give 5 minutes now to Alexei Yegorov, and that is a huge break. And let's take a look at it for you watching on UPN 20. Here's the penalty.
Well, Gord Donnelly has something on his face right now, but in the corner, and it looks pretty bad. Yegorov gets his stick up in the air, and it catches Gord Krupke right up in the eyebrow area, and he will get 5 minutes. That's a big loss for Kansas City, because Yegorov has 14 goals in his last 13 games. He's going to be representing the Kansas City Blades in the All-Star team as he replaces Gary Emmons. He was a 3rd-round pick in '94 for the Sharks, and I tell you what, this guy is 3rd in the league in shooting percentage at 28%. So he's a really big, loss for the Kansas City Blades. There you have Alexei Yegorov replacing Gary Emmons for the IHL All-Star game. Emmons is out tonight, of course, with a bad knee.
Face-off center ice. So the Aeros are going to go to work on a 5-minute power play. And it is Jeff McLean on for his first shift tonight. And the Blades back in their own end. Scremin to Krupa. Watched by Freer and Slivchenko. Scremin tossed it to Krupa. Right now the Blades doing a fine job. Here's Krupa, who got away from Slivchenko. Here he comes short-handed. Ripped it into the arrow end. Broke his stick. That's partially why the shot didn't go in as hard as maybe Krupa wanted. Arrows back in their own end. Here is Laniel. They're working on a 5-minute major to Alexei Yegorov. Right side, it is Freer. Oh, tipped away by Medill. And he'll snap one, and McLean's got a break, short-handed. In on goal! Stop, rebound, score! Jeff McLean, short-handed. And the Blades take a 2-1 lead.
A great goal by McLean, and it's all second effort. After he strips the puck at the blue line, he'll get pretty much a clear break down the left-hand side of the rink. And a back-checking Houston Aero can't catch him. This is a good job by McLean to throw on the Jets. It'll be a save right off the bat, but the rebound will come right back, and as he's falling down, he'll fire the puck into the net. Just a great job. He'll get his 9th goal of the season on second effort, as it actually went off of Shervin and back into the net. It's a 2-1 game on a shorthanded goal.
Here come the Aeros, still on the power play, though. And it's Miles O'Connor. Rips one into the Kansas City zone. Right side, Conroy tried to move one into the blade, shoot it right back down the ice. Aeros have gone a little flat in the second period, but this power play gives them a chance to get her going. It is O'Connor. Long pass for Turgeon. Turgeon crossed the line. Left side for Lamb. Takes a bump from Paul Dick. It's pushed away by Sergei Boughton. David Bruce in there trying to kill off the penalty. Boughton worked it away with 3:44 to go on this major penalty to Yegorov. But the Aeros have yet to really find the blade zone to set up. Shervin slides the pass to Turgeon. Snap one ahead for Freer as he brings it across the line. Lamb shoots. Herbe sticks it. Picked up by Yo. Give it to Freer. Base to left circle. And the Aeros begin their power play now. In the corner, Yo fighting for it with Paul Dick. In there was Turgeon. Bumped Boughton. And it's picked up by Nielsen and slid all the way down the ice. Sherman will slow as he gives it for Mark Lamb.
You know, the Aeros lead the league now with shorthanded goals against at 15, so they're going to have to be careful with that.
Well, now they turn the puck over at center ice. It is finally shot down by Jeff Batters. So McLean gets his 6th of the year shorthanded, and the Aeros really struggling on this power play as we're halfway through the hockey game. Puck is at center ice. And it's picked up by Peltonen, lobbed ahead, and Freer will turn it away. Freer left side. Shot one into the Kansas City zone. Now it is Maurice, who took a tumble, down he went. And it is cleared by Batters all the way down the ice. Out of the net, Grant Shervin. And he will leave it for Laniel. 9:28 to go in the second. 2-1 Kansas City. 2.5 remaining in the major penalty. Here come the Aeros. Laniel at center ice. Brings one across the line. Now a chance. Kelly Hurt centered. Right on Urbe. Save, rebound. Great save, Urbe. Another rebound. Stopped in front. Yo. Back to the line, Laniel. Finding Arneal right side. Get it to the line. Laniel lost it. It's 2-on-1 short-handed again. Medill in on goal. Shoot. Stop. Rebound. Oh, it got behind Shervin. Did it go in the net? No. I'll tell you what.
It'll be interesting to see if they call this a penalty shot, but Shervin does have the puck.
Under 9 minutes to go, and Shervin held on to it. I think Shervin was on top of it. If it's not Shervin, it is a penalty shot.
But a good job by Medill. Watch, he'll fake the shot and go right side of the pad, and then he'll get his own rebound. It's almost knocked into the net by Kelly Hurt. But what Kelly Hurt will do is he'll grab the puck and he'll shovel it underneath of Shervin, and that's why it's not a penalty shot, because he did give it to the goaltender. He'll have a great angle of it as the puck drops down and behind him, and it gets underneath of Shervin, and Shervin does a good job. But right before that, a good save by Urbe. Arneal will get the rebound and have a couple cracks at it. He'll miss the second rebound, and Urbe looking sharp in this second period.
And we'll take a look at the save comparison brought to you by Pizza Hut, where Pizza Hut delivers. Grant Shervin 15 saves, Arturs Urbe 12, but the Aeros have really not tested him. Short-handed goal to McLean has given the Blades a lead of 2-1, and here's Krupa short-handed. Sends one in, that's blocked. The Aeros really scrambling on this power play right now. Now it's snapped down at center ice, and here come the Aeros. Slivchenko busting down the left wing. Slivchenko in, shoots, stopped by Urbe. Well, I'll tell you what, Slivchenko made a nice move there, but Arturs Urbe makes a nice save.
Yeah, he went from backhand back to forehand, and he fired one, and Urbe stuck with him the whole way, as a lot of goaltenders might try to cheat to go across the ice, but Urbe stays with him. It shows his NHL experience. A good job by Slivchenko. Slivchenko holds up a little bit, looking for someone to feed, and finally he elects to go himself. He goes 5-hole on the defenseman Scremin, and then he tucks it right in the belly pad of Arturs Urbe, and the score remains 2-1 Kansas City.
Face off right side of Urbe. Aeros won the draw, but O'Connor could not hold it in. Back is O'Connor at center ice. Power play is down to 137. Freer give one to Lamb, and now Slivchenko turns as he puts it into the blade zone. Urbe came out to play it. Freer comes smoking in there to try and play it out in front. Oh, it was nearly snapped into the Kansas City net by Scremin, but he had great composure in front and did not panic. Oh, man, that was teeter in the line. It is Lamb in his own end. He'll move it from left to right. Lamb through the neutral zone, hits the line, and the Aeros. Slivchenko offsides.
You know, Slivchenko was pushed offside, and that, you know, technically, if they're going to call that obstruction interference that they've been calling all year, that's a prime example. That's one of the things they tried to get away from, and that is pushing guys over the line when they're, you know, right out the front there. But here's a weird bounce as Freer gets all over Urbe, and it comes right out front. Freer will throw it out front, and it'll hit two spots on Scremin, his stick and his skate, but it stays out of the net. You know, Urbe had some troubles in San Jose with the way he played the puck. They didn't like him playing the puck as much. And right there, you see, he had a little bit of trouble as Freer was all over him, and Freer almost got one from behind the net.
Lamb slides one left side for Miles O'Connor. It's pushed behind the net. Arneal waits for it near side. Arneal get one for Conroy, fighting for it in the corner, and it's picked up by Kansas City and shot down the ice. Power play is down to 53 seconds. The Blades have been terrific in killing off the 5-minute major to Alexei Yegorov. It is O'Connor, a pass to Scott Arneal, turning in his own zone. Arneal gives one for Lamb as he brings it across the line. Lamb sets up the remaining power play time for Conroy, centered. Oh, it was tipped away by Urbe at the last second on Arneal. Wow! Here's the puck picked up by Lamb. Cross ice, Turgeon shoots, and it went just wide of the net. Now Conroy, right side, trying to center one. He was worked on by Ville Peltonen. Power play down to 20 seconds. It's shot to center ice, and that'll just about do it for the power play. Out of the net, Shervin gives it to Mark Lamb. Lamb pass to the right side. Maurice scampering in on goal. Here's Maurice, looks in front. Maurice still with it though, with a little time on the power play. 4 seconds. Oh, as a shot was stopped by Urbe. Picked up by Batters. Hammered it along the boards. Penalty over. Teams at 5 aside. Here's Mike Maurice turning in the blade zone. Maurice shoots. Urbe the save, and he'll cover up and he'll hold on. Let's take time out. It's the Blades 2 and the Aeros 1. 6:50 to go in the second. Back after this. Well, January and February will be a busy month for the Aeros on YouTube. Saturday night ice continues the 21st against the Grizzlies, and then a week later from San Francisco, the Cal Palace, and then the 10th from Chicago as they take on the Wolves. And that 5-minute power play, let's go down to Rob Dobson. Although the Aeros didn't score the last couple of minutes, they moved the puck pretty well, Dobber.
I think that, Adam, once we got the puck into their zone and we're able to turn things around and get it going, I think, more or less Kansas City did a good job to force the play, but once we were able to get control in their own end zone, we were able to get some good chances. Unfortunately, we weren't able to score. The defenseman made a good play on the pass from Al over to Arnie in the slot there that just was able, just to get it wide of his legs. But I think once we got settled down, we did okay, but unfortunately, they got a goal, but we got to get that back.
And here's another one as Jeff McLean comes down the left side and beat Grant Shervin. It's 3-1 Kansas City.
And that's the kind of goal that the Aeros don't want to give up right now. They're leading 2-1, and it looks like a relatively harmless play. McLean breaks down the wing, and you mentioned earlier that it was his first shift of the game last time. Well, he picks up the puck again here, and he breaks around Laniel, and he just shoots it 5-hole on Shervin. Shervin maybe should have stood up on that one, as he didn't have a lot of room to score except for the 5-hole, and when a goaltender drops, his 5-hole opens up. So McLean will get his second goal of the game, his 10th goal of the season on a shot between the legs of Grant Shervin. It's 3-1 Kansas City.
So Jeff McLean, who didn't see a shift in the first period, that's like his third shift of the hockey game, and he's got 2 goals in 3 shifts.
You think we'll see him a little more now?
No, he'll probably bench him. All right. It's 3-1 Kansas City, and here come the Blades again. Nazarov past Krupa. He tried to center one in there. Back to the line, Scremin. Tossed one in front. That was blocked and cleared by Gord Donnelly. Ooh, he had Slivchenko breaking, but couldn't get it to him. Donnelly in his own end. Donnelly trying to turn one ahead. It goes into the Kansas City zone where Urbe will slow. Scremin, work done by Lamb. It came out in front, overskated. Loose puck picked up by Houston. Can they get the shot away? Turgeon tossed it back to the line for Donnelly. Sends it back behind the net for a waiting Mark Lamb. Trying to shake off a Scremin check. Lamb gets one back, and we've got a fight between Donnelly and Nazarov. Donnelly and Nazarov are going to drop the gloves. Donnelly walked a little bit, then got back up after Nazarov. I don't see how this started.
Well, they're along the boards, and Nazarov took a kind of a run at Donnelly, and Donnelly got his fist up in the air a bit, and they both went at it. They dropped the gloves. The linesman was right there, but he wasn't able to jump in on time, and Donnelly got a couple good ones in there, and jumps all over. Nazarov eventually throws him down. Nazarov is a big man. He's about 6'5", 230 pounds, and Donnelly, a strong man himself, threw him around a little bit, but a good job by both in that little scuffle, and I like to see that Donnelly trying to get his troops going a little bit, trying to show a little bit of emotion. That's something that the Aeros haven't shown a lot of this game yet, haven't shown a lot of intensity as far as the hitting is concerned, and hopefully this will get them going a little bit. A little bit of an elbow on the play as Donnelly shoots it in, and then Nazarov comes in and throws the chicken wing up in the air, and Donnelly doesn't like it, gives him a shot in the back of the head, and that's what started the fight. And both guys will sit in the box for 5 minutes. I don't think there'll be any extra penalties on this play, as it'll just be 5-on-5.
Well, Andre Nazarov better keep his head on the swivel, because I have a feeling Gord Donnelly likes to write down numbers of trucks that run through him. And in this case, Andre Nazarov got the elbow. It looked like a 747 putting its flaps up, trying to make an approach. All right, well, puck is back in the Kansas City zone. Aeros maybe need to get something like that to get them started here. They have struggled in the second period, but trail 3-1. Here's the puck in the Aero end. Peltonen smoking down the left side. Kevin Grant gives him a shove into the corner. Grant is there near side. Grant's pass picked up by Freer. He'll move down the right side for Kelleher, and then he's bumped by Krupa. I'll tell you, it's been the Blades who've been the ones that have taken the body here. Krupa, pass center ice. As it's turned, Shalhoub rolls one ahead for Ville Peltonen going into the corner. He got through the check of O'Connor, but O'Connor took the puck away, and the Aeros will move it up ice. Scott Arniel. He'll scamper to center. Arniel through the neutral zone, lobs one into the Kansas City end as Urbe will come out to slow. 3-1 in favor of Kansas City. Under 5 minutes to go in the second period. Here is Turbine, who got behind Krupke and then turns, centered, knocked away. Another shot blocked in front, and Shervin will cover up, and he will hold on. 4:45 to go in the second period. 3-1 in favor of Kansas City, and we'll return with more IHL action right after this. Back in Kemper. scoring along with Mike Greenlee. Kansas City leads it by a score of 3-1, 4:45 to go. And in the box, Scott Arniel. Gord Donnelly in for a 5-minute major fighting with Andre Nazar, but Arniel just went in with Vlastimil Krupa. 2 minutes each for roughing. So we'll go 4-on-4 hockey.
You know, and I don't know, Dave Tippett, I know he wants to play a different style, but the Aeros and actually the Kansas City Blades as well have played this most of this game in the neutral zone. There have been a few breakdowns in either end, but there haven't been a lot of pressure down deep. Here's one of the chances I'm talking about. Cherbayev gets a thread the needle pass right through the middle, and a good shot eventually ends up in Shervin's pads, and right after that came the penalties, but not a lot of action or pressure down low by either team.
Does Shervin flop too much? I mean, is he, when he goes out, just too much, kind of leaves himself out of position?
Well, on that situation, he almost had to go down as Cherbayev was trying to go around him. But yeah, you got to watch how far you slide.
All right, here come the Blades again. Boughton turning one in front from Adil, but Maurice is back to play it. Maurice hammers one along the boards. It came back to Paul Dick, right side, trying to get through Krupke. Behind the net, Jeff McLean. 2 goals in 3 shifts. Centered one. It went off the stick of Shervin, and the Aeros cleared at center ice. Mike Maurice through the neutral zone was hooked off by Paul Dick. Conroy trying to move one through. In there was McLean, and it came to the near side for Sergei Boughton. Takes a bump from Conroy, and it's lobbed ahead to the line, not out. Here's O'Connor, shoots, and a great defensive play by Paul Dick. Oh man, a big sliding 2-pad stack by Dick in front, and that puck sails up over the glass and out of play.
Things like that make the difference in a good play and a great play, and this is a great one by Dick. As Miles O'Connor has a lot of room to step in, and he just tees one up, but Dick does a goaltender's job right there as he blocks a shot right up in the middle of the slot, and Urbe is allowed to stand up and just watch it sail over the glass.
Fans, stop by any Texaco station and fill up with 8 gallons or more of any grade clean System 3 gasoline. You receive a coupon good for 2 $10 Aero tickets for the price of 1 and $3 off a ticket to the Ice Fest All-Star Weekend. Coupons are redeemable at the Summit box office only. Texaco. Add more life to your car. Take it to the Star. Face-off circle, right side of Arturs Urbe. And it'll be Freer with Slivchenko. Defensively, Jakes and O'Connor. We'll go 4-on-4 for another minute 13 as Arniel and Krupa are in the box. And here is Dean Grillo against Mark Freer, and a false start between the two, and we'll try her again. As the face-off will be to the right side of Arturs Urbe. The Aeros trail 3-1. And stay with us in the second intermission. Troy Gamble will be by, and we'll chat with him about tonight's contest and the happenings in Aeroland. This time Freer wins the draw cleanly, back to O'Connor. Slivchenko, top of the slot. The wrist shot was stopped by Urbe. And now Jeff Batters near side. Batter sends one in front for Frederick Oduya. Snapped one for Grillo. Tried to clear it, could not. And Freer's got a chance. Freer, left side, shoots, and he hammered it just wide of the net. Picked up by Slivchenko. Slivchenko slides in with a shot. Urbe save, rebound, and it's cleared by Urbe. Tell you, Urbe very calmly playing the puck. Now O'Connor centered one, and we're going to get a penalty to Jeff Batters. And now Oduya getting into it with Freer. Behind the net, and Steve Jakes comes in there. As Freer and Frederick Oduya, kind of a mismatch, if you will. Frederick Oduya known for his tough stuff. Freer's, he just plays the game and then gets in there, and then everyone breaks up, and I think that's all that's going to come out of it, except the Blades. Jeff Batters, I think, is going to get a 2-minute minor for tripping, as Rob Martell, our referee, will make the call.
So Jeff Batters will go to the box, and the Aeros will get another chance on the power play. Last power play, they gave up a shorthanded goal, and then not too soon after the power play was over, they gave up another goal, and it is 3-1 for the Blades. So the Aeros will have to use this power play to their advantage this time and not really allow Kansas City to break out. Kansas City was standing up really well up on the blue line, not allowing the Aeros to gain the control of their zone. Once the Aeros did gain control of the zone, they moved the puck around really well, but a good job by Arturs Urbe and the Kansas City defense to keep them away.
Aeros had a 1-0 lead to start the game. 2 minutes into it on Sylvain Turgeon's goal, but then 3 unanswered Blade goals have given him the lead, and the Aeros really, the guns have been silenced once again. The Aeros scored just 2 regular session goals against San Francisco, and so far only have managed to get one by Arturs Urbe. But they've got a chance here on the power play. Right side, Turgeon smokes one into the zone. It was knocked away by Urbe, and he'll shoot that down the ice. I'll tell you what, if San Jose says don't play the puck much, he's not listening. He's playing it quite a bit tonight, but he's very effective with it. Here is Laniel on his own end. Laniel to center ice. Give the puck to Turgeon. The Aeros bring it across the line. 4-on-3 on the power play. Kelly Hurd to Laniel. Cuts one down. Turgeon, one-time shot, and Urbe got over there nicely. Turgeon, with 9 seconds remaining, it'll be 5-on-4 for Houston. Right now, 4-on-3 on the power play. Laniel to Turgeon. Sends one back to Laniel. It was hooked over to Turgeon. Now Arniel back out on the ice with Krupa, so it's 5-on-4. Here come the Aeros on the power play. Kelly Hurd along the left side, getting set. Hurd, wide, shoots, hammered it wide, and the brunt of the shot will carry all the way back into the Aero end. 1:08 left in the Jeff Batters penalty. Laniel to Arniel, had it taken away, but it went back to Scott Arniel. And he'll send it in for Kelly Hurd, and Arniel will head up ice. Scott Arniel on the power play. Hits the line with Turgeon, but he lost the puck. Paul Dick trying to clear it to not. Turgeon along the side, but it was taken away by Krupa and shot down the ice. The Blades have not given up a power play goal. They had only given up 4 in their last 37 coming into the game.
You know, right now they're 14th in the league on home penalty killing. They're doing a great job right now at 80%. But tonight they seem to, they obviously are at 100%, doing an unbelievable job knocking the puck off all the sticks and forechecking really well, and actually have stolen the puck 2 or 3 times, caused good chances for themselves. So they're really hammering the Aeros on the Aeros power play.
Face-off will be brought to center ice after the Aeros got a little miscommunicated at the blue line. And right now, the Aeros really haven't been able to muster much on the power play. They had a good last minute or so of that 5-minute major, but really have not tested Urbe much on the power play.
I think they have to come into the zone with a little more speed and then gain the zone and do something once they're there. But they seem to be holding up the blue line a little too much, and that's not allowing them. It's making it easy for Kansas City to knock the puck away.
And Medill will clear it out at center ice. He's out there with McLean. Puck is shot ahead. That went off Lamb and into the Kansas City zone. Power play down to 10 seconds. Blades have it, though. Scrimmage got it back to the line, but Maurice held. Left side, Maurice trying to feather one to Slivchenko. That was pushed away back to the line. O'Connor ripped one down low. It bounced along the far boards. Penalty is over. Teams are back at 5 aside. It is turned by Claudio Scremin, snapped to the line, held in by O'Connor at a left point for Mike Maurice. He's taken off the puck by McLean, but here's a shot that hit the side of the net from Freer. Now Jakes trying to lob it along the far side. Freer in there with Frederick Oduya. Oduya creams him into the boards. Now Maurice along the left side. It's back to the line. Laniel for Freer. Tossed one behind for Slivchenko as we're down to the final minute in the second period. Maurice centered for Slivchenko, but he couldn't get a good shot away, and Medill will wrap that all the way back to center ice.
That was a good job by Scremin, the defenseman for Kansas City, because he jammed the stick of Slivchenko just before he could get a shot away, and that didn't allow him to get a good shot on goal.
Puck is out at center ice. Jakes rolled one ahead for Slivchenko, knocked away by Claudio Scremin. And now McLean shoots one into the Aero end. Out of the net, Grant Sherman. And here is Steve Jakes with half a minute remaining in the period. 3-1 Kansas City. Arniel for Al Conroy. Give one to Yo. Yo trying to move in, lost the puck, and the Blades clear it. 20 seconds to go. Laniel's got to hustle back. It'll be icing if he gets there. He does. And they'll bring the faceoff back into the Kansas City zone with 17 seconds remaining. And Dave Tippett, a look of concern on his face as his team trailing by a couple of goals heading into the intermission.
Well, definitely they're going to have to come out strong in the third period and formulate some kind of offense, something that'll beat Urbe right now. The kind of shots they're getting are kind of harmless from the side, and not a lot of good chances in front. They're being broken up pretty confidently by the Kansas City Blades defense. The Aeros are going to have to get in a little deeper and get some rebound shots, and what I mean by that is get a shot on goal and then drive to the net for that rebound, try and jam it home.
Face off in the circle to the left side of Arturs Urbe. Mark Freer, who had a terrific game against San Francisco, has been stymied tonight a little bit. Lamb, Turgeon, tell you, he with his 4 goals and 7 assists in his last 13 games, we talked about how he's been rejuvenated, and that's just nothing but positive signs for the Aeros heading into the stretch run for the playoffs, especially after the All-Star break. That's when defense is going to win you games, but if you get some good goals like from Freer, as the puck came in, they score! Scott Arniel, I think, tipped it in there, and it's now a 3-2 hockey game with 11 seconds to go in the period.
Those are exactly the chances that I wanted to see from the Aeros, and it was a good one as the puck's fed out of the corner, and Arniel, all he has to do is put his stick down and feed it inside the post. and Urbe can't get a pad on it. What a great play. And guess who turns it around is Turgeon with a little bit of work on the body. He feeds Arneal, who is in a prime spot in front of that net, and he jams it home. But like I said, Turgeon is doing it in both ends of the ice, and here he makes a great pass, and Urbe can't read it far enough, and he can't stretch his leg across, as Arneal will pick up his 14th goal of the season with 11 seconds remaining in the second period.
Puck is back in the blade, and that's a huge goal. Anytime you get one that late in the period as the horn sounds, and 40 minutes are done at Kemper, but not before Scott Arneal has something to say about the score. The Aeros trailed much of that second period by 3-1, but Sylvain Turgeon's hard work in the corner found Scott Arneal. Arneal pots his 14th, and the Aeros are within one heading into the second intermission. When we return, we will chat with Troy Gamble right after this. At Kemper Arena, everybody, the Blades leading the Houston Aeros by a score of 3-2, and I am pleased to bring in my guest for the second intermission, Troy Gamble. That's a huge goal. I was getting a little worried about the Aeros there.
Well, it was a tremendous goal. We needed a little boost. We had struggled a little bit on the power play there, and that's just a tremendous boost that Scotty Arneal just gave us.
Are specialty teams kind of the first thing that suffer when a new coach comes in because he's got so many systems he's got to work on?
That's a great point, Adam, because we haven't really worked on our power play and penalty killing. We're still going on the old system, and we didn't have a whole bunch of success with the old system, so we haven't had that quality practice time to work on the power play and penalty killing yet.
You know, Kevin Grant talked about it, and Dave Tippett talked about this new system, and you know, you've worked on it a little bit, but now it's got to be done where it comes kind of naturally. Are we at that point yet?
Well, I think we are. I think you can see tonight that we always have that third man high, and that's the key to the system. We need that third man to stay high, and we have the two workers, and the workers' job is just to get in there, create havoc. If we do turn it over, we have three guys back. Even if they do get a 3-on-3 or 4-on-4, we can deal with it.
Let me ask you a question. This might be kind of tough for you, but you know, you look at the struggles that you and Dauber kind of had in the start of the season. Grant Shervin has come in, and as well as Shervin has played, it's also been the team playing in front of him. I mean, has it been frustrating watching the team play as well, hoping that maybe when you guys get your chance, they'll be as well?
Well, that's totally correct. Grant has come in and did a great job, and my main worry, main focus right now is when Troy Gamble gets a chance to play, and that's basically, so both myself and Rob, we have to work hard in practice, stay in shape. When our opportunity does come, we have to shine.
Now you've had your chance here. We were talking a little bit about the fact you got contact lenses. Has that been a difference at all? Has that helped you out, getting the contacts?
Well, I don't know if it's been a difference, but it's just something that we thought if it could give me a little edge, why not go and do it? So hopefully when I do get a chance, I can show something.
Here we are, the All-Star break coming up. It'll be good. The boys will get away for a couple of days, not really think about hockey too much, and then come back. They talk about how the game changes in the second half of the season. What happens in the second half?
Well, this league is very defensive oriented, and that's why this system should be so successful. Our whole entire system's based on now is, okay, we'll have three guys back, but when they turn it over, we spring and attack them, and that could be a system in the second half of the season that we could have success against a lot of teams in the IHL.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the system is really starting to work, and I just hope, you know, as things move on, are you guys thinking now playoffs? Is that the main goal right now in the back of your mind? Is we came in at 12, 27, and 3 when Dave Tippett took over. Now we got to think about the playoffs.
That's our only concern, is the playoffs. We're looking at catching the Atlanta Knights in our division or anyone in our conference. We have to move up the ladder at least one spot, and if we do that, then we'll be in playoffs, and that's our only goal right now.
Gams, always a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks, Adam.
All right, that's Troy Gamble, who joined us in the second intermission. It's 3-2 Kansas City. We'll have the scoring summary after this. Through 40 minutes from Kemper Arena in Kansas City, the Blades leading the Houston Aeros by a score of 3-2 as we bring in Mike Greenley. And Greener, you know, the Aeros, I still think, are a step behind. I'm really surprised after the week off from the San Francisco game. It just didn't seem like a lot of jump in that second period.
Well, sometimes when you do have a week off, it's kind of tough to get back into the flow of things. I mean, they were playing a lot of emotion last game, and now they're starting to play with a new system. So sometimes you got to get the bugs out. But it was a good goal at the end of that period by Arneal to bring them back within one.
And we'll talk about that now. It was a 1-1 game after the first period, but then the Kansas City Blades went on a rampage shorthanded. McLean getting the goal at 8:43, made it 2-1 Kansas City. It was an unassisted goal for McLean, although a lot of credit should go to Jeff Medill setting that up. Then the Blades come back again. Second goal of the night for McLean. This time Medill and Batters getting the assist at 13:29. Blades were flying, but a late goal with just a few seconds remaining. It was Scott Arneal with actually 11 seconds remaining from Mark Lamb, and the Aeros were within one. It's a 3-2 hockey game, and that, as you say, a huge goal for Scott Arneal and the Houston Aeros. Give him something taking into that locker room.
Well, certainly will. It's something positive. But I also like to mention that Turgeon will get an assist on that one too, or at least he should, because he's the one who created the play in the corner, doing a good job forechecking, and that's what they're going to need to do, is come out forechecking and win the battles in the corners.
Perhaps the toughest job in the world is being a broadcaster. You've got to stay in shape. I mean, we're running up and down stairs trying to grab interviews, keep up with Greener here, and sometimes you just got to learn a little bit about conditioning, and that is our subject tonight as we take time out for good health.
Time Out for Good Health is presented by Columbia HCA Healthcare Corporation. A new commitment in healthcare together.
Welcome to Time Out for Good Health. I'm Dr. Charles Baker, an orthopedic surgeon and team physician for the Houston Aeros. Today we're going to talk about athletic conditioning. Let's go downstairs to the Aeros Conditioning Laboratory. One of the jobs of the medical team is to oversee physical fitness and conditioning of the athletes. With us today is Jerry Mines. Jerry is a head trainer with the Houston Aeros. He was formerly a head trainer with the Houston Oilers. Jerry's going to talk to us a little bit today about the types of conditioning that athletes undergo. This includes aerobic, anaerobic, and strength conditioning. Jerry, could you give us a little information on those subjects?
Thank you, Dr. Baker. We're here in the Aerodrome at the Aeros Sports Conditioning Laboratory, and we're going to give you a little overview of some of the pieces of equipment that we have available to us to do our conditioning. We have several pieces of equipment that are cardiovascular or aerobic in nature. That consists of bicycles, stair climbers, and treadmills, all used for a cross-training effect, where our athletes don't get into the rut of doing the same piece of equipment all the time. We also have available lots of pieces of anaerobic equipment, which is predominantly strength training equipment or weightlifting equipment that is used to gain muscle mass and overall general strength.
Remember to always check with your physician before beginning a new exercise program. Please join us next game for another edition of Time Out for Good Health.
Time Out for Good Health was presented by Columbia HCA Healthcare Corporation. A new commitment in healthcare together.
Columbia Healthcare partners with 16 neighborhood locations in the greater Houston area. No other hospitals come close. It's a close game, though. 3-2 Kansas City. We'll look at the highlights after this. Blades lead at 3-2 in the second intermission, and Greener, tell you what, it was the second period that belonged to Jeff McLean.
It certainly did, and the first goal he had was a shorthanded tally. He comes in, cuts across, and Shervin makes a save, but he gets his own rebound and then knocks it in off of Shervin. That made it 2-1, but McLean wasn't finished. He came down, Laniel tries to catch him, he still gets a good shot away, and he beats Shervin 5-0. That made it 3-1, but at the 11-second mark of the second period, Lamb wins the face-off. Turgeon with good work in the corner, finds Arneal out in front, and Arneal fires one in. It was 14th of the season.
There's a look at the Whataburger second period stats. Hey, what you waiting for? Shots on goal 10 apiece. The Aeros make that 3 penalties for 9 minutes. And when we return, third period action. Blades lead at 3-2 back after this. Just the third period, the Blades lead at 3-2. Puck is back in the Aero end, and Yo will snap one ahead for Conroy. Aeros Maurice rolled it into the Kansas City zone. Urbe comes out to slow, and Frederick Oduya is there. Oduya tacked into the boards by Conroy. But the Blades take over in their own end. Jeff Batters slides one out at center ice, picked up by Jakes. He'll turn it across the line for Maurice. But that is offsides, and the faceoff will come to center.
Conroy jumped in offsides a little bit, but it looks like Tippett's got his boys jumping right off the bat as they came out pretty strong, turning the puck out of their own zone after it was dumped in and right up to the other end.
Let's go down to Rob Dobson down at ice level. Dauber, what was going on in the locker room second intermission there?
Well, again, Adam, I think it's a situation where we got away with what we wanted to do. We weren't pressing the play, really taking the play to them, kind of sitting back, letting things happen. And as Mike had mentioned, there was a lot of play in the neutral zone. And I think that it's more or less I've just get a sense of getting outworked. And we know we've got to come out and be strong and work hard this third period and really stick to our system and win the little battles and win the war.
Okay, thank you. Puck is controlled by Houston, and here is Mark Lamb. He'll move it up ice. Lamb across the line. The shot got behind Urbe. but Vlastimil Krupa will right into play it. Here come the Blades. It is Ville Peltonen left side. Nielsen winding, shooting. Hook hammered that just wide. Peltonen returned, and that hit the side of the net. Loose puck behind the cage. Peltonen tapped into the boards by Krupke, and it slid to the line and out at center ice. Back is Krupa. He'll give the puck to Claudio Scremin and rip it into the arrow end, but Grant Sherman is back to escort it to Gord Krupke. Give it to O'Connor behind the net. Miles O'Connor slides one Turgeon. He couldn't clear the zone. Shalhoub sends one. McLean the shot. That ricocheted wide of the net. McLean was looking for his third of the night. The last time these two teams played, it was in Houston, December 14th, and Gary Emmons had a terrific night with 3 goals. J.F. Kintain, who's also another scratch night, had 4 assists. So the two guys that really hammered the Aeros in Houston are scratched tonight, Emmons and Kintain.
But Krupa had 2 goals, but he is out there.
Yeah. And the puck back and icing a call as Kevin Grant will touch it, and the face-off will come back into the Kansas City zone with 18:13 to go in the third period. And Grant Sherman, who has played well tonight. I think maybe the second goal by McLean would be one that he'd like to have back, but other than that, he's played pretty well with 18 saves tonight.
He's played pretty solid, and on his counterpart, Artur Zerbe, has made the same amount of saves tonight and has played pretty well, made some pretty good saves earlier on, and the Aeros are going to have to put a lot more pressure on him in this third period.
Face off right side of Urbe. Freer with Hurd and Arneal. Off the draw, it is picked up by Gord Donnelly. Slides one behind the Kansas City net, but Cherbayev is there, trying to clear. Cannot. Aeros turn. Kelly Hurd circles right side. Shoots. That was deflected. Never made it to Arturs Urbe, and it's cleared, not out. Held in by Donnelly. Right point, fakes the shot, cutting in. Now lets it fly. Hammered wide, rebounding front, they kicked it into the net, they score! That might be Donnelly. Regardless, the Aeros have tied the hockey game at 3.
Well, Donnelly makes a great move on the boards, faking a shot and then walking around a fallen Kansas City player. And then he just winds up and blasts one from a sharp angle. Just after beating the Kansas City player, it deflects off a player, off the post, back off of Urbe, and it went into the net. Now, I'm not sure whether Arneal got credit for that, but I tell you, it went off the boards, off the net, off a skate, and over the line, and I think it was in the net already by the time Arneal got to it. So Donnelly will pick up his 2nd goal of the season, and we have a tie hockey game.
Well, the goal, not the prettiest, but doesn't matter how you get them as long as you get them.
As they say on the road, you just want to play ugly hockey. It doesn't matter as long as you win.
All right, puck is back into the Blades zone. It's a 3-3 game. The Aeros have battled back from a 2-goal deficit. Here is Maurice in the corner. Base in the left circle. Maurice slides one down Conroy. It went to the far corner. Jake's pinching. Conroy's in there. He takes a bump from Oduya. And it's controlled by Andrei Nazarov. Pushed it back to line. Held in Laniel. Shoots right on. Urbe the save. And Jeff Batters is there, and he'll slam that all the way down the ice. And this will be an icing call on the Kansas City Blades as Jenks goes back with almost 3 minutes gone in the third in a 3-3 hockey game.
Kind of a pinball goal, but the Aeros needed that. They got a great goal late in the second period by Arneal, and then Tippett took the boys into the dressing room the second and said, hey, we need one at the beginning of the third, and I think he got one by Donnelly, who takes a shot. It was a pinball action, but they all count the same. They all look the same on the score sheet, and the Aeros are tied at 3 and rolling now.
Face off right side of Urbe. Here's Lamb, Slivchenko, and Turgeon. Turgeon with 2 assists in this hockey game. And Mark Lamb ready to take the draw as he lines up against Fredrik Nielsen. This is the team where the Aeros centers match up with the exact same numbers. You've got Freer and Grillo that each wear 22. Nielsen and Lamb wear 7s. Here's a puck. Lamb turns one, chipped one over Urbe, but wide of the net. Puck in the corner. Nielsen slams one out to the line. Not out. Turgeon held it in. Gives to Slivchenko. Base in left circle. Slivchenko looked in front, trying to center it. Still the puck though. Slivchenko cuts in, but poked away by Urbe. Turgeon behind for Lamb, centered. Slivchenko in there. Line shoots. Oh, he couldn't get the shot away as Urbe was down, and then Lamb hoisted one. He launched one high over the net. Lamb had a marvelous chance, but had a little too much loft on that, and it's back at center ice. Should have used the 3-iron, but I think he had your old wedge on that one, Greener, and launched it over the cage. Back into the Kansas City zone. Blades have got it in a 3-3 deadlock. Shalhoub across the line. Here comes Jan Shalhoub. Hits the break center. Nielsen, but it was tipped away by Turgeon. Aeros moving up ice. Slipchenko for Lamb across the line. Lamb dropped it for Slipchenko. Back for Lamb. Right in on goal, but it was worked away by Nielsen, so Lamb sets it up again. Mark Lamb drifting into the slot. Here's this one-time shot snapped wide by Turgeon. Didn't get good wood on it. And the Blades are back. Aeros taken away, though. Lamb tried to move one out in front, but Frederick Nielsen was there for Kansas City. He'll send it back to neutral ice. 4 minutes gone in the third, and a 3-3 game. Here's Arneal, the shot. Glove save made by Urban, and he will hold on, and we will take time out. It is the Aeros 3 and the Blades 3. And we'll be back at Kemper right after this.
Circuit breakers. Check. Window heat. On. Take off warning horn. Check. Parking brake. Set. Radio's radar and transponder.
Set and standing by.
Sunscreen. SPF 15.
That's a check.
Southwest Airlines is going to Florida with low fares on every seat, every flight, every day. Florida has never been closer.
Cool shades. On.
Why is Greens Point Dodge the #1 Dodge dealer in Texas? Price and selection. We have the best selection of Ram trucks, including the hard-to-find Club Cabs, and they're on sale. A new 96 Club Cab SLT Laramie with Magnum V8, AC, and more, just $18,995. And there's more. Here are the hottest new trucks in Houston. These new 96 Ramside customized trucks are also on sale. So come to Greens Point Dodge, Texas #1 truck dealer, I-45 North at the Beltway exit.
Welcome back to Kemper Arena, and we talk about cycling. This is what we mean. They'll switch, and you want to keep working that in a circle and keep working it and confuse the other team, and they do it. Slivchenko gets a good chance in front, and he doesn't get a good shot away because he was being held in front, but still, that's what we mean by cycling. They want to work the circle into the corner and keep dropping the puck back to each other, keeping the puck along the boards, and doing a good job like that. The Aeros have done a great job of that in the third period, and they've tied the game up.
Well, there's pattern. Look at Miles O'Connor there. Looked like he got into it a little bit of blood on his jersey. But Milo O'Connor been playing some pretty good hockey, and the guy next to him, Kevin Malgunas. There's a role player for you. Kevin Malgunas, a guy that doesn't see much ice, but when you do put him in, he's very effective. And Kevin came to me before the game. He says, do me a favor. I want to say hi to all my friends that will be watching up on the Bird tonight. So hello to all you out there. Here's a puck shot down. Arturs Urban makes a stick save. It's controlled by Kelly Hurd. Hurd for Houston. Trying to move the puck along, but it was taken away by Sergei Boughton, and then a battle for the puck came to McLean, and he'll slide one to center ice for Jeff Medill. Medill ripped one in there, goes wide of the net, picked up by Kevin Grant. He's pursued by Cherbayev, who lost an edge, crashed and burned in the corner. They're going to need 8 cars and tow trucks to get that accident out of there. Puck goes into the Kansas City zone. Picked up near side by Medill, pursued by Hurd. And now it is Paul Dick in his own end. Dick's pass went out to the far side, and Cherbayev moves to center. Gives it to McLean, who rips one in there, and a save made by Grant Shervin. Arneal gets it out to center ice for a waiting Mark Freer. Freer across the Kansas City line, looks for the pass, slides one down for Hurd in the corner, who's tapped in there. Battle for the puck between Batters and Hurd. They're skate to skate in there. Mike Yeo in there to have a look, and finally whistle halts action as the puck was frozen with 14:39 to go in the third period. And a 3-3 hockey game. And our next Prime Sports telecast will be the Aeros returning to action after the All-Star break. First game back Wednesday, January 17th from the Summit. The Chicago Wolves come to town for a 7 o'clock face-off. You can catch all the action on Prime Sports and, of course, on our radio flagship station, 950 KPRC. And Dave Tippett trying to make it 2-0 for him as a head coach, and 2-0 in 96. And his team captain Al Conroy may have a lot to say in the outcome of this hockey game. Face off to the right side of Arturs Urban. Conroy against Grillo, but Grillo and Conroy will both be tossed down to the circle. So enter Mike Maurice. He will take the face off. against David Bruce, and Bruce wins it. Back to Batters in behind the net, worked on by Conroy. Batters and Conroy go into the corner, but the puck came out at center ice. Laniel for Houston, high in the air. That'll score the runner from third as Oduya goes back to play it in the corner. Frederick Oduya knocked in there by Conroy. They're skate to skate along the boards. Maurice trying to get in there. They continue to battle it out. Conroy along the wall with Frederick Oduya. Well, that's a big man to have on your back, but they're able to move the puck along the wall, and finally Oduya is there. Get the puck to Grillo. Ahead for Jeff Batters. Batters slides one into the Houston Aeros zone. Grant Shervin is there. And now it is Mike Yeo in his near zone. Yeo opting out at center. It'll go through the neutral zone. They'll say no icing because they felt Kansas City could have played it. So Frederick Oduya is there. Slides the puck ahead. Here is Ville Peltonen. Shoots it into the arrow end. Out of the net, Shervin, though. He'll slow for Miles O'Connor. 13:43 to go in the third. Deadlocked at 3. O'Connor gets it to Conroy, trying to bump the puck ahead, but Vlastimil Krupa is back at his own blue line. First Scremin. Scremin's pass, rink wide, goes into the arrow end, and Krupke is back, tapped in there by Shalhoub. In there was Peltonen, worked it away for Nielsen, back for Peltonen. But Mark Lamb in a battle there. He and Peltonen skate to skate along the boards, and Peltonen wins the battle, gives Scremin the shot, block, loose puck, and it's tipped away by Turgeon, and he muscles his man out of there and cleared. I'll tell you, Sylvain Turgeon might be playing his best defensive game tonight as a Houston Aero, as well as a fine offensive game. Here's a lead pass. Shalhoub's got a breakaway. Shoots. Oh, great save made by Shervin, and Turgeon is back. Here is Slivchenko. And he'll move it up ice. Vadim Slivchenko for Mark Lamb. And he will push it into the Kansas City zone. And the Blades are back. Nielsen watched by Turgeon. Frederick Nielsen will move the puck up for Vlastimil Krupa. Right wing boards at center ice. Krupa rolled it ahead for Shalhoub. Shalhoub right side trying to sidestep a check. Not going to happen. Battle for the puck. It's Cherbayev. Give it to McLean. Ooh, he got high stuck by Arneal. And that is going to be at least a 2 for Arneal. We'll see what they call, but while they sort out the penalty, we need to take a timeout. 12:30 to go in the third. It's the Aeros 3, the Blades 3. Back with the Blade power play after this.
An extraordinary gift changes a child's life forever when the magical powers of a key.
You are so real.
Open up a fantastic adventure.
No, it's not a game.
And toys come alive and teach a lesson that'll last a lifetime.
You can't use people.
Give the gift that's the best family entertainment choice of the year. For a limited time, get your own key, cupboard, and Indian. Only when you bring home the Indian in the Cupboard video on sale starting next week.
See why TV Guide has targeted Nowhere Man as the season's coolest hit. Sit down. If you don't know what happened to Thomas Vale, this is the episode that will tell you everything. Why is it so important to get the negative? Because this time, somebody's gonna talk.
Is my life erased? Or the man with his finger on the trigger is your creation?
Or somebody's gonna die.
How does it feel to know someone else is in control? And the rest of your life is up to me.
Thomas Vale returns with a vengeance. Nowhere Man.
Monday night at 8 on UPN 20.
Back to Kemper. It's 3-3. Houston, Kansas City, and Arneal sits in the box for this high stick as he gets the stick up around the shoulder. Now, I guess from the referee's point of view, he sees the stick go up and McLean go down, but I really don't think that he really got him with a high stick. He was kind of in the shoulder area, one of those gray area calls, but Arneal will go to the box, and Kansas City's on the power play.
Medill turns with his shot, but hammered it wide of the net. It's back to the line for Oduya, worked on by Conroy. Aeros trying to clear Connaught. McLean slides one out in front, but it's blocked by Lamb, and he'll push it down the ice. Irby will come out the slow, so we've got 12 minutes to go in the third, 11:30 or 1:37 to go to Arneal. Hockey game is tied at 3. Blades on the man advantage. Here comes McLean. Slides one right side, Medill. Bumped by Donnelly, but picked up Cherbayev in the corner. Worked on by Kevin Grant. Cherbayev trying to move it along the boards. It was tipped away by Yo, but not out. Oduya turns with a shot. Stick save made by Shervin. Medill trying to move it down, but it was snapped away by Grant. Cleared to the line and out at center ice. Jeff Batters, forecheck by Yo. Get the puck to Medill. Here comes Medill across the line. Fires one to McLean. Trying to center one. It came back to Oduya. Freer trying to wrestle it away. It came down in front, but Freer worked it away. Here come the Aeros shorthanded. Mark Freer springing Yo down the right side. Back for Freer. Aeros shorthanded. Freer shoots. Stop Irby. Rebound. Here's Freer shoots. Looked it just wide of the net. He had a marvelous Last chance between the circles, but he let it go just wide. It's picked up by Dean Grillo near side. Get it back to Frederick Oduya. Power play is down to 43 seconds to Scott Arniel. Oduya in behind the net. He'll give it to Batters as he romps to center ice. Right side, David Bruce. He'll push it into the arrow end. Down is Shervin. He'll play it, leave it for O'Connor. Hammered it along the boards. Cleared, not out. Held in left point, Krupa. He scrambles down the left side. Looks behind. It was centered. The shot. Great save by Shervin. Challenged the shooter of Dean Grillo. Here's Batters. Fakes the shot. Slides it down for Grillo. Cherbayev behind the net. Make it Nazarov, rather. Andre Nazarov waiting. Back to David Bruce. To the line for Krupa. Fakes, gives Bruce. Wide shoots. Ricochet. Oh, that went in front and then wide. Batters slides it to Nazarov. That looked like a big knuckleball. Here is David Bruce. Winds over. Krupa the drive. That's blocked. Aeros have killed off the power play. Teams at even strength. And here is Bruce trying to move in. He was hauled down. Play moving on. And Arniel comes away with a loose puck. And he'll escort it out to center ice. Jeff Batters back at his own blue line. Worked on by Arniel. Boy, is it scrambly here. I'm glad I watched that conditioning stuff on the timeout for good health. Glad I'm in shape for this one. Puck is turned over now as the Blades bring it into the zone. Shalhoub was dumped, wanted a penalty, not going to get it. Battle for the puck. Shalhoub digs it out. Center one in front. The shot. Oh, what a save by Shervin. Came out about 5 feet to cut down the angle. And another marvelous stop by Grant Shervin. He'll hold on. 10 minutes gone in the third and a 3-3 game.
Grant Shervin makes a couple great saves to keep his team in this one. Bruce will fire a shot, and it'll come across, and it'll just trickle wide. A very good chance there as it bounced across the crease, but Shervin made a couple of fantastic saves, and here's one of them as Krupa fades into the zone, and Shervin down on his knees as he catches one in the midsection and holds on for a faceoff. What a great job as Krupa, who had 2 goals last time against the Houston Aeros, tries to find one tonight. And that was the better man right there. Grant Shervin playing really well in this third period. The score is tied 3-3.
Well, they talk about guys that come up from the East Coast League and try and make their mark, and Grant Shervin has done that. Now, we also have to reiterate the fact that Shervin is no rookie to the IHL. He played last year with the Chicago Wolves for a few games. In fact, finished up the season with Chicago. And while we've got a moment here, they're fixing up the ice, and let us remind everybody, the All-Star Game. It's all this weekend. The Aeros are hosting it at the Summit. Join us for 3 fun-filled days. It'll start with a Friday night extravaganza with the 1980 U.S. Olympic team. They take on the 1974 Avco Cup champion Houston Aeros. There's a concert by Bruce Hornsby in the range. Weekend also has a golf tournament, a kids anti-gang rally, Ice Fest, which is a festival featuring a card show, autograph sessions, and interactive activities. And then Saturday, oh yeah, an All-Star Game. Going to be a lot of fun. It's January 12th through the 14th. Tickets are on sale right now at all Ticketmaster locations and the Summit box office. But get your tickets, folks. They are going fast. Our next telecast, Saturday Night on Ice, continues on January 21st from the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. The Aeros and the defending Turner Cup champion Utah Grizzlies. Game time is at 7 o'clock. Be sure to join Mike Greenway and myself right here as we bring you all the action on UPN 20 and on KPRC Super Talk Radio 950 AM. And here's a good look at how you have to pick up the ruts and fix them up with a little snow. And let's tell you, those corners and the boards take a big beating when you're grinding it out. And it's sometimes tough because the Zamboni, it gets in there, but it doesn't really do as good a scraping job. They have an edger that goes around usually before the game, but sometimes the ice just takes a beating.
It does, and while we're watching the referees fix that up, some people are probably wondering where guys like Graham Townsend are. Of course, he is suspended. Mike Hurlbutt is at home. He could have played tonight, but they figured, hey, let's give the guy 1 extra week to get healthy and just make 100% sure on this. And of course, Curtis Hunt is at home, and he's kind of nursing a bit of a back spasm himself. So
we talk about Mike Hurlbutt, and it was funny. A couple of fans came up to us before the game and asked us how Mike Hurlbutt is doing. Before we go any further, let's go down to Rob Dobson and Dauber. Your thoughts on how the boys came out in this third period?
Well, I think we've got back to what we do best, and we got back to our system. We've got some good opportunities to score. We killed that last penalty off. Now it's important that we get down the other end and get some chances to on Urbe to get the game. It was important for us to come out and get that first goal, which we did, and now we have a chance to win the hockey game and have a good road game.
All right, thank you, Dauber. Puck is picked up by Mark Freer, and he'll move on out at center ice. Blades are back, but it's turned over, and now Kelly Hurd moving in on goal, and he hooked that wide of the net. Good job by Kelly Hurd trying to split the defense. Here come the Kansas City Blades. Jan Shalhoub across the line, dropped it. Krupa sends one back in front. Shalhoub pursues it, turns with a shot. Shervin the save. Now it is Freer. He takes a bump in the corner from it by Frederick Nielsen, and then Laniel comes in there to wrestle him along, and we get a whistle, and now Shalhoub getting in there. And here we go. I don't think these are the 5 guys that Kansas City wants in there roughing it up, though, when you look at who the Aeros have out there. Although, really, I guess you look at Mike Yeo, who's out, or Steve Jakes, he's about the toughest of them all out there.
Arneal can certainly take care of himself. I know that from watching him for quite a while, but it's just it's a situation where Freer has been maybe they knew the good game that he had last time against San Francisco, which was about a week ago, because they've really hounded Freer the whole time, and they've been hitting him quite solidly the whole game. And here he is in the corner, and he's just smoked along the boards. And so then Laniel gets in there and gives Nielsen a few shots, and then Freer gets up and will spin around and give a couple of shots to a few people, and then everybody's in there. Arneal and Jakes double teaming somebody. So good job to see the Aeros jumping in, helping out.
One of the changes also for the Houston Aeros is Pete Dineen now back on the bench. He will do the defense with Dave Tippett, and Pete Dineen helped out Terry Ruskowski at times last year, and now that Dave Tippett is the head coach, Pete Dineen is helping out the defense. And I want to reiterate also, if Scott Arneal, who's the playing assistant coach for this hockey club, if Arneal were ever injured, then Pete would move back upstairs. But Pete says to me, he says, you know, I don't mind being down on the bench. It gives me a chance to really see how my players are doing in key situations.
Yell at a few people, you know, get his frustrations out.
You know what? He's a pretty quiet, mild-mannered guy. He does kind of does his yelling through the pencil, I guess, if you will. He's not a guy that's going to confront you. He will at times pull a player aside, say, hey, you know, we got to get you to pick this up or whatever. But other than that, he just lets them do their thing, and then he makes his decisions based on what their performance is. He's done a terrific job putting together a hockey club this year, and did a great job last year as a shot came on to Grant Shervin. And I have a feeling that Pete Dineen may have something up his sleeve here as you've got the All-Star break coming up. We'll have to see what happens. Here's Sylvain Turgeon. Give the puck to Lamb. Worked one down into the corner, and Turgeon's got it with 2 assists tonight. Sylvain Turgeon getting set. Turgeon trying to slide one in. It was blocked in here. Comes McLean, a man to beat. It's Laniel. McLean flying across the line. Shoots. His wrist shot went wide. Came back out in front, but it was swatted away by the Aeros. Lamb turning in his own end. Sends it over to Steve Jakes as the Aeros regroup. Lamb's got it at center ice as the Aeros making changes. And a pass intercepted by Nazarov, but the Aeros were back. 8:35 to go in the third. A 3-3 game, by the way. Freer and Nielsen each got minors, so that's why we're 4-on-4 out of all that. It is controlled by Paul Dick for Kansas City. Moves through the neutral zone. Pushed it into Aero territory. And out of the net, Grant Shervin. Get it to Miles O'Connor. O'Connor skates away from traffic. Swings one over to Al Conroy. Give one Slivchenko. Trying to split the D instead. Passed it back to Conroy. Conroy tossed it behind the net. Here's Al Conroy. Centered. Slivchenko couldn't pull the trigger. And Jeff Batters takes over. Batters for Bruce. Trying to get by Slivchenko. The shot hammered wide of the net. Slivchenko got back and forced him to shoot it from the far side. Now it is Slivchenko through the neutral zone again, but he's hauled off the puck, and it's turned around by Jeff Batters. Batters, get one to Ville Peltonen. He's knocked off the puck. Penalty, not going to get it. Kevin Grant in the corner. Slides one behind the net, and then Shalhoub took it away from Donnelly. Here's Shalhoub to the near side, but Donnelly stays with him. Donnelly wrapped him up along the boards, back to the line. Oduya trying to push one in front for Shalhoub, knocked away. Loose puck gathered in by Shalhoub behind the cage. Waiting. Came out in front, centered it, but Conway was there. Another shot. Oh, marvelous save by Shervin. Here is the puck. Ville Peltonen in the circle. Ready to goal. Shoots. Great glove save by Shervin. Loose puck for Peltonen. All the blades coming hard. Puck to the line. It was held in by Oduya. Slams one to the corner for Nielsen. Aeros caught chasing the puck a little bit here right now. Peltonen centered. Knocked away by Shervin. And Conroy comes away with a puck. He'll move to center ice, but Frederick Oduya was back. Aeros get it back. Conroy in his own end with under 7 minutes to go in the third. A 3-3 hockey game. Now the puck is controlled by Kelly Hurd. Give it to Laniel. Rips one in there. Irvin the glove save, and Jeff Batters is back. For Kansas City, he'll shoot it out at center ice. Laniel hoists that into the air. Batters goes back into the corner. He will turn and slice that all the way down the ice. This will be icing as Jakes goes back. He will touch, and the faceoff will go back into the Kansas City zone. 6:28 to go. Hey, don't get too tipsy. It's a 3-3 game. We're back after this.
Welcome back to The arena, Houston 3, Kansas City 3, and as the play comes around, as a goaltender, you want to be right about here, but he stays back in his net, Shervin does, and the puck goes off the pipe and gets a little fortunate. As a goaltender, you want to try and follow him right across the front of the crease here, but he can't do it, and he gets a good break there as the puck goes off the post, and the score remains 3-3. He's still making a lot of great saves, but you want to kind of challenge on those a little bit more.
Shervin, surely the man in the pipes, doing a good job as the puck controlled by Laniel. Turned it down for Lamb behind the Kansas City net. He's got Krupa on his case. Lamb and Krupa in the corner. Came out in front. Slivchenko turning. Stop, rebound. Right-handed. There was Turgeon, who will hold on. Oh, sniffing around for that loose puck was Sylvain Turgeon, who's already got a goal in this hockey game, and he nearly got number 2 there.
Well, the goal and an assist in this hockey game. Turgeon tries to make it one more as a shot's blocked by Slivchenko, and Turgeon gets a good hard shot from right in close, and just a good shot, good pursuit of the puck by Turgeon, and Urbe had to be sharp and squeeze the pads on that one because Turgeon does have a hard snapshot.
Face-off left side of Arturs Urbe in a 3-3 hockey game. Aeros getting outshot 29-27 thus far the hockey game. Grillo will take the draw against Sylvain Turgeon. Top of the puck, Grillo wins the draw, slides it to Krupa, in behind the net. Vlastimil Krupa trying to shake off a check, moved it out at center ice, but it was taken away by Jakes. Jakes tried to roll it ahead, loose puck picked up by Kansas City, and Krupa got it into the arrowhead. Shervin out of the net. Shervin hammers it along the boards, and here is Slivchenko. Couldn't get it out of the zone. Laniel is there. He'll get it to Sylvain Turgeon, and a rink-wide pass for a breaking Slivchenko. Slivchenko moving right in and go! Went upstairs, but I think that was deflected into the near side. Jakes get it to Slivchenko. Base in the left circle. Slivy getting set, trying to shake off the check from Krupa. They battle in behind the net. It was Scremin who kicked it away, and Claudio Scremin will meander to the near side, and here comes Dean Grillo. Grillo at center. Worked one ahead for David Bruce, busting down the right side. His shot high and wide of the net, but I think Shervin got a glove on it to play it safe when the puck squirts to center ice. Back is Sergei Boughton, watched by Maurice. Aeros trying to move the puck ahead, but was taken by David Bruce and shot in for Kansas City. Back into the arrowhead, controlled by O'Connor with 5:13 to go in the third in a 3-3 hockey game. O'Connor winds it up at center ice. Looks like his old 67 Mustang barely down the right side, centered, but it was tipped away, and it's picked up by Yanni Shalhoun. Shalhoun at center, right side, across the line. Shalhoun in on goal, but it was worked away by Yo. Crowd wanted a penalty. I don't think Robbie Martel's going to call one here. It's going to take a murder, I think, to draw a penalty here at this point in the 3-3 deadlock. Maurice left side across the Kansas City line. Takes a check from Paul Dick. Puck came behind the net. Yo had it jammed away. It's on the side of the net. Boughton was there, and he'll hand it over to Ville Peltonen. Stood up by Krupke, and back to play it is Boughton. Back in behind the net, and he gave it to Paul Dick with 4:29 to go. 3-3 hockey game. Puck is back into the arrow end. Shervin gives to Gord Donnelly, and he'll turn it up ice. Donnelly, the pass for Arneal, slides it into the Kansas City zone, but Oduya is there. Give it over to Jeff Batters, and he'll wind that up and out at center for a waiting Kevin Grant. Booms one into the Kansas City zone. Batters is back. Watched by Freer, and he will hoist that all the way down the ice. Will it be icing? It could be if Grant gets there, and he will, and that is going to be icing on the Kansas City Blades with 4 minutes remaining in the third. It's the Blades 3, the Aeros 3. Back with the final 4 after this. Tonight's hockey game, the All-Star Weekend in Houston, and all the teams getting some time off, but then it's right back to work. The Aeros at home on the 17th, and then the 19th against the Wolves and the Orlando Solar Bears respectively, and then the 24th, the Atlanta Knights come to town. And we look forward to having you back at the Summit. Great seats available just by calling 629-3700. Back to action as the puck along the near side. It's picked up by Frederick Oduya. And the Blades bring it out at center ice. Cherbayev, rink-wide pass for a breaking Medill, but it came down to Shervin, and he'll roll it away. Here's Scott Arneal into the corner. Arneal rolls the puck ahead for Freer. It came back to the line. Batters hooked it deep into the zone. Medill looks for the loose puck. He and Kevin Grant going at it a little bit. Tell you what, Jeff Medill is one of those guys that just gets into it behind the play, and now Slivchenko comes up a little limp behind the play. He is down right now. I didn't see this.
He took I think the puck jumped up and hit him in the face. And so the whistle goes as the Aeros had possession of it, but the puck did jump up in the air. I think it was the puck. It might have been a stick, but it looked like it was that little piece of vulcanized rubber that they fire around the rink there, and that sure hurts when you get it on bare skin, especially up in the face. So he is bleeding on the play, but they are gonna. I don't think they're gonna call a penalty, but they are having words. The puck comes to the blue line and it's chipped. And the puck jumps right up in the air and hits Slivchenko in the face. There's no high sticks anywhere in that area, so it was the puck that hit him, and so there won't be a penalty, obviously, on the play.
Well, Slivchenko going to the bench, and Jerry Mines will have a look at him. You know, Gord Krupke took a high stick earlier, and he was a little shaken up, and he's come back. Krupke and played pretty well tonight.
He certainly has. Gord Krupke actually want to say hi to someone back home that's visiting him in Houston. A friend visiting him from Tabor, Alberta, Brent Hall. No, it's not Brett Hull, it's Brent Hall.
Oh, okay.
And he wanted to say hi to him and everyone that's watching in Houston.
All right, Slivy getting tended to. That's got to be comfortable as the puck goes back into the arrow end. We're down to 3.5 and a 3-3 game. It's exciting, folks. Let's see who's going to get it here. Claudio Scremin back behind the net. Scremin turns it and worked it ahead, and here come the Blains to center ice. David Bruce lead pass for Grillo, intercepted by Jakes and hooked it back into the Kansas City zone. Urbe slows. Here is Krupa. He'll roll it near side for Nazarov. Takes a bump from Turgeon. Aeros hold the puck in nicely. Urbe wanted to play it, but he played it right to Mark Lamb. Give it to Turgeon. Had it poke check, though. Lamb gathers it in. Hash marks right side. Gives Turgeon right in this shot. And Urbe challenged with a nice save. Came out about 10 feet to cut down the angle and played it very well. Now it is Turgeon, but that is going to be offsides. Oh, Turgeon wanted to see if he could sneak one by the linesman, but couldn't quite do it. He was just ahead of the play offsides, and they'll bring the faceoff back to center.
Well, he's a little mad about that play because he tried to take the puck with one hand, as he would have handcuffed him if he held the stick with two, and he just glided across the line a couple, about a few inches actually before the puck did, and so the play is offside and they'll come back to the center ice. Dave Tippett wanting the guys to at least hold on to this tie or even get a goal, but at the very least hang on to the tie for the shootout.
Puck goes into the Kansas City zone. Maurice trying to work it away. And the Blades turning. Yo, bumped by Shalhoub. Yo trying to move it ahead. Conroy slides it down, but it was picked up by Sergei Boughton. Boughton works it out through the neutral zone, and it goes into Houston Aero territory. We're down to 2:30. And a 3-3 hockey game. Glad you're enjoying this one on UPN 20 and on 950 KPRC. Here is Yo near side. Bumped by Shalhoub. Came out at center for Miles O'Connor. He'll start the rush ahead. Gives to Conroy. Conroy threw Peltonen, but Peltonen tipped it away. Along the boards, Krupke in there wrestling with Nielsen. And finally, Nielsen pushed off the puck, but they get a whistle. To small play right in front of the Kansas City bench.
Good physical play at the right time of the game. Conroy in there working really hard. And then Krupke jumps in there too and starts throwing people around. Frederick Nilsson takes a taste of the ice, but good job to see the Aeros fighting really hard to keep this tie right now and actually trying hard to go ahead and take the lead. Turgeon had a great chance a little while ago, but Artur Zerbe came up with a great save.
Well, I'll tell you, want to take a chance here and say hi to everybody back home from Steve Sumner, the Aeros trainer. Does a good job for the Aeros. He wanted me to say hi to his family back home. Here is Jeff Batter. Shoots the puck into the arrowhead, and Shervin rolled the puck away. Kelly Hurd right side, moves it up ice. Hurd trying to shake off a check. Hurd through the neutral zone, rolled it into the Kansas City end, out of the net. Artur Zerbe, he'll slow the puck. Coming in there was Freer to knock the puck away. Freer in the corner, trying to move it along, but it went to the far side, and there is Jeff McLean. He's got 2 goals tonight. Trying to move it out at center for Cherbayev. Alexander Cherbayev just called up from Mobile, Alabama. Turned the puck ahead, but the Blades are offsides. 1:36 to go. Hockey game is tied at 3. It's been kind of an easy game for O'Connor, wouldn't you say?
Well, the game, like I mentioned a couple minutes ago, is getting physical. Right here behind the net, there's bodies flying all over the place. That time it's Arneal taking the brunt of the hit, but it has been a pretty physical game for the most part, but getting really rough right now as both teams want to either hang on to this tie or get a goal themselves.
Face off at center ice, and Here is Jeff Batters, slams one into Houston Aero territory for a waiting Gord Krupke. He takes a bump from Cherbayev, and now it's Miles O'Connor in behind the cage. Reversed it to the boards for Gord Krupke. Krupke, right wing boards. He'll move a pass out at center, hit Turgeon on the seats, but squirts to Lamb, and he'll hammer it into the Kansas City zone. Fireboards waiting for it, Frederick Oduya. He's worked on by Conroy, but the puck jumps ahead, and here come the Kansas City Blades. At center ice, McLean rolled it into Aero territory, and back to play it is Steve Jakes. We are approaching the final minute of play in the hockey game. Lamb worked it ahead for Turgeon. Sylvain right in the drive, and that was deflected away, and the puck goes out of play with 54 seconds to go. The game is tied at 3, and Sylvain Turgeon trying to be the hero for Houston. As we said tonight, a goal and an assist already. And we'll see if he can pull it out.
Well, Turgeon never afraid to shoot it. He's third in the league with shots, and he just winds up and lets one go. It does go off the ankle of Krupa up into the stands, so it's good to see Turgeon shooting the puck the way he is, because he has a cannon for a shot.
Yeah, you faced it in practice. Is it safe to say the hardest on the team?
If it is not the hardest, it is one of the hardest.
Who would you like in someone else? Who else has a hard shot? Kevin Grant?
Kevin Grant has a good low hard shot. Curtis Hunt has a good shot, accurate, and there's a lot of guys with some pretty good shots, but Turgeon really can let them heat.
Here's Jakes with a drive. That changed direction. Came to the near side, and Andrei Nazarov moves it to center ice and into Aero territory. This is going to be icing, I think, as Jakes goes back to touch, and it will be with 43 seconds. And another face-off deep in Kansas City territory, and a chance for the Aeros to set up again. And I don't know, Dave Tippett, I wonder what runs through his mind at a point like this. Do you call timeout and set up a play even though you don't need a goal? I don't think he has to here. His team's playing well. They've got a face-off deep in the zone. Sometimes you'll see a coach call a timeout just to diagram something if he feels that he's got the troops out there that maybe can get a goal for him.
Yeah, but I'll say right now that the Aeros seem to be putting the pressure on, so in order not to kill the momentum, I think that's why he's electing to stay with the guys out there and just whispering a word to Turgeon, maybe telling him, hey, I want you to go to the net while Lamb can pull it back to Laniel.
Face-off right side of Arturs Urbain. Lamb, Conroy, Turgeon, Laniel, and Jakes. Lamb down to take the draw. Waiting to get his stick down. Visiting team has to get the stick down first. Nielsen started also, but Lamb is the visitor, so he has to have his stick down first, and didn't. He doesn't like it. Al Conroy pleading his case. Well, I'll tell you what, if you got to lose Mark Lamb out of the face-off circle, I'll take Al Conroy in there.
Sure, and that's my plan. Tippett wants to get two centermen, especially at this point in the game, out on the ice in case that happens.
Well, and I think he's hoping maybe Lamb could have got Nielsen tossed, and then all of a sudden you get another center iceman in there. But it doesn't matter. Conroy won the draw. Laniel shot, and a right pad save made by Urbe. Here's Nazarov turning in the near corner, and with half a minute to go, he'll move to center ice. Nazarov slides one into the Aero end. Sherman wanted to play it, but he's got Jakes back. Tips it over for Laniel. Laniel worked it ahead for Lamb. Cross-ice pass broken up by Nielsen, and he'll put it into the Aero zone. Down to 19 seconds. Aeros are back. It is Laniel. 3-3 game. Turgeon, a pass at center for Conroy. Here come the Aeros with 10 seconds to go. Conroy, right side looking for Lamb. Bumped by Scremin. Puck came out in front. Picked up by Scremin, and that is going to be regulation. The horn sounds, and we're going to a shootout. Well, the Aeros are going to go to a shootout, and while we've got timeout on the ice, we'll take a quick break ourselves. It's 3-3 back after this. Back in Kemper Arena, we're going to a shootout. The Aeros and the Blades, and let's review our audience, the rules of the shootout. You'll get 5 players from each team. They'll try to get as many goals. If there's not a winner, you just go to sudden death. I guess the other day in Detroit, the Vipers, I don't remember who they played, they went to 14 shooters each side. I've never heard of that. Goaltenders cannot be replaced once the round begins. However, if the Aeros wanted to put in Rob Dobson right now, they could. The Aeros are guaranteed a point, but let's set this up, Greener, because the last time the Aeros, they won in a shootout against San Francisco, and that guy right there, Grant Shervin, shut him out. So he's not allowed a goal in a shootout. On the other side of things, Arturs Urbe, who's just waiting before he has to get in there. Urbe, he's no stranger to the shootout because he played here in Kansas City before he went up and made his statement with the San Jose Sharks. So he has been a part of the shootout, but it has been a while. So let us see what transpires.
Well, I know that you'll see Shervin stacking the pads a lot and things like that, but here's a man right here, Artur Zerbe, who will use the poke check a lot. You watch for that stick to come out, because it will.
Yeah, Tommy Salo used it very effectively in the Utah game. But right now it's up to Mike Maurice, who was the hero against San Francisco, scored the only goal in the shootout. And Maurice will move it in on Irbe. Here we go with the shootout. Maurice in on Irbe. He will deep. Shoot. Score! Whoa! What happened there? I don't think he really shot it.
He didn't. He kind of lost the puck, and that's what fooled Irbe. Irbe was expecting a shot or at least a deke, but Maurice lost the puck, and he lost it right into the net.
All right, here's Jeff Medill on Grant Shervin.
He'll go high glove.
All right, let's see what Medill's got. You would know. You played with him in Atlanta when you won the cup. Medill across the line on Shervin. He will wait. Shoot! And he missed the net. Boy, Shervin played that well.
That was a good move. He faked high glove, and he pulled it to his backhand, but Shervin was right on top of it.
So now it is Scott Arniel. The Aeros, after the first round, lead it 1-0. And Arniel will get his chance with a goal tonight, trying to make it a 2-0 lead in the shootout. Arniel, wait, shoots. Oh, went far side and hammered that just a little wide, and it remains 1-0. And here's Ville Peltonen.
Arniel pulled over Artur Zerbe, but he couldn't find the net on the Edith glove side.
All right, Ville Peltonen against Grant Shervin. Blades with their second round of the shootout. Here's Peltonen speeding in on goal. Wade shoots. Great poke check by Shervin.
Shervin goes down early. Peltonen makes the move, but boy, what a great poke check by Shervin as he gets the shaft of the stick out there to thwart Ville Peltonen.
Now Slivchenko with a chance on Irbe. Slivchenko moving in on goal. He will wait, shoot, scores! Vadim Slivchenko, and the Aeros lead it by a score of 2-0 in the shootout.
He has hands made out of silk. He can really smooth it in there, and he made a couple of great moves and slid it home.
So now Shalhoub, speaking of silky soft touch, he'll move in. Blades trail 2-0 in the shootout. Third shooter is Shalhoub. Moves in on Shervin. Shoots. Oh, the glove save made by Shervin. He'll hold on.
He read that one all the way, and a good shot by Shalhoub, but Shervin really made a good save.
Conroy can ice it here. Conroy with a goal here will win it. Conroy in on Artur Zerbe. Conroy shoots. Irbe with a save.
Sometimes players will come down and just try and blow one by a goaltender because they don't. Goaltender doesn't expect that kind of shot, but he stops it anyway.
It's still do or die for Kansas City. Nielsen has to score here to send it to the 5th round. If he doesn't score, the Aeros come away with 2 points. Frederick Nielsen will move in on Shervin. Across the line, Nielsen in on goal. Deke shoots, having it wide, and the Aeros have defeated the Kansas City Blades by a score of 4-3. They defeated 2-0 in the shootout.
And a great job by Shervin again, not allowing one goal in the shootout. And Dave Tippett gets his second win in his second coaching game. And what a great game by the Aeros to come back in this one.
All Tipsy needs now is to win one in regulation. Both his wins have come on the shootout.
They certainly have, and they, give the credit to the guys. They got that big goal at the end of the second period, and then they got that big one at the beginning of the third and held them off and did really well in the shootout. Good job by the Aeros tonight.
All right, well, the Aeros emptying the ice, congratulating Grant Shervin. The Aeros have won 2 in a row to start off 96, heading into the All-Star break. And we'll sort all this out for you when we return. 4-3 the final. Back after this. This special edition of Saturday Night on Ice has been sponsored by Southwest Airlines, by Columbia Healthcare Partners, by Chrysler Plymouth, by Dodge, by Jeep Eagle, and by Whataburger. Back to Kemper Arena. Aeros needed a shootout once again to pick up their second straight win in 96, 4-3 over the Kansas City Blades. And welcome back, Adam Gordon, along with Mike Greenlay. And let's take a look at tonight's Southwest Airlines just plain smart play of the game. And what a poke check by Shervin in the shootout.
Well, Ville Peltonen makes a good move, and I'm sure he thought he had Shervin, but Shervin goes down with a poke check and just gets him with the end of the stick. A great save, along with all the other ones he made.
What a terrific night for Grant Shervin again tonight. Grant Shervin again, we talked about the Jeff McLean goal, the second one that he scored that maybe he should have had, but other than that, another terrific performance.
Well, it was a kind of a tricky shot because Laniel was checking McLean at the time, so it's kind of tricky, but yeah, he was solid all night through, and he was especially solid in the third period and in the shootout when you have to be.
And of course tonight, a goal and an assist from Sylvain Turgeon, but it was his defensive play that really kind of caught my attention.
He certainly, he did everything, and we talked about his offensive prowess and everything, but it's the guys that can do that and take care of their own end as well, and Sylvain Turgeon certainly did that tonight. He did some good back checking, and it was great to see him play well tonight.
And that takes us to our Texaco star of the game, brought to you by Texaco, and it is Sylvain Turgeon with his goal and his assist. And really, when you can get Sylvain Turgeon, you know he's going to get his goals, you know he's going to get his assist, but when you can get him coming back in your own end, playing the way he did tonight, again, that's another bonus for Houston heading in the stretch run. And like we said, defense is what's going to win you hockey games after the All-Star break.
Well, it certainly is. I mean, no matter who's going to score the goals and get the assists and work down low in the offensive zone, you always want to have someone taking care of your own end as well. And I'm sure Tippett wants every player playing defensively as well as offensively.
Green, I want to go back to the shootout here for just a second. I want you to take a look at a couple of goals. And first, the one by Mike Maurice. Wasn't the prettiest of shots, but it counted. I think it caught Urbe by surprise.
Well, sometimes a goaltender's expecting a hard shot, and Maurice was going to the backhand shelf. You can tell by the way he made his move. And Urbe thought he was going backhand shelf, but the puck had something else in mind, and it just slid into the net, and Urbe went with the read instead of actually watching the puck, and that's how it went in.
Well, you talked about the silky smooth hands of Vadim Slivchenko, and here he is once again. What a nice goal that was.
Well, he really moves the puck well. He's very talented with the stick and the puck, and he moved it. He made a couple dekes, and he had Urbe all tied up, and then he punched it into the open net. A great move by Slivchenko.
So the Aeros are now 2-0 in 1996. They are 2-0 under head coach Dave Tippett. And I guess my question to you is, Greener, is the All-Star break coming maybe at a bad time?
Well, we asked Dave Tippett the same question. He says, yeah, I guess when you got your team on a roll and everything, it is both pros and cons. You want to get your team to continue rolling, but then again, it's going to be a good break for the guys, and hey, it'll give Tippett a little bit more time to work with things like the power play and penalty kill, which need a little bit of work.
Yeah, I thought Troy Gamble brought up a good point. We talked about it with Troy in the second intermission, and that was with Dave Tippett coming in, he's had basically a week and a half to play 2 games and get his system in place, his forechecking system and how he's going to attack and things like that. Took him the whole week and a half to get it in place and get the guys to know it so it's a part of their game. He really hasn't had a chance to get in depth into the power play. In fact, Gam said that they are still kind of using the same system that they were using before Dave Tippett, and they're going to stick with that for now until he gets a chance to work on it. But I think at that point, once he can get it into place, hopefully the changes will take place, because you're going to need the specialty teams, especially when you get into postseason.
Well, you certainly will, and especially teams, when you mentioned postseason, that's where games are won and lost, and that along with goaltending and defense. So, yeah, it's going to be important to get that system in and get it working before playoffs, because you don't want to come rolling into playoffs with a system that's kind of iffy.
Aeros win it in a shootout by a score of 4-3. We'll take a look at the final stats and wrap things up when we return. Back after this.